I'm scarred for life, but I'm set for life, and I'm set for life, but I'm scarred for life, and I'm coming at you. I'm fucking crazy. I'm fucking psycho, fucking insane. That's the fucking chorus right there.
You nailed it,
That was
dude. You
good.
nailed it.
Yeah.
You nailed it, and you visually transformed into fucking Joe Rogan there,
You
dude.
did.
You fucking
Oh, Joe Rogan. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
you did. You visually transformed
That's good.
yourself into Joe Rogan. It was amazing.
Yes. Welcome back to the big room. And I know I say it every week, and I know you say it to yourself. That intro, it gets me pumped. It gets me psyched. It gets me laughing. It gets me transforming. I know that I'm going to a place that's magical and dangerous. Things can happen.
Heard you missed us. We're back.
We're back. I brought my...
Pencil.
Give me something right on, damn it. Hey, everybody. How are you?
How's the world been treating everyone?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, indeed.
Glad everybody is alive in the big room.
Boom.
Fuck everybody
Big
else.
now.
But if you're in the big room, we care about you.
We care about you.
We care, and
Especially if
you're
you're right
alive.
We are against corpses in the big room. We
Yes,
remove
indeed.
them immediately.
Yep.
That's right.
Never- 'cause
Immediately.
you- and
before
zombies.
somebody- For the
And
smell.
animated corpses especially.
Animated corpses are right out.
Right out.
And I want to say a happy return to BB, the sorcerer.
Back at it, yeah.
Yeah, welcome back, BB.
Yeah, dude. I was intending on being here last Wednesday, but after I wrote that note in the group, yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, 8 or whatever it was, 8:30 or whatever. You're like, yeah, let's do 8 or 9:30 or whatever it was. I wrote that. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go get some food. Left the computer, got some food. I was like, all right, that was some good food. Next thing I knew, it was like fucking 12:30. I fell asleep in my chair for like 2.5 hours. Karen fell asleep on the couch for like 2 hours. And just wiped us out, dude.
Both of you.
Yeah.
Both of you got it. So did you tell everybody that you had shot number 2?
You got the shot number 2, yeah, on
Miracle vaccine.
Sure,
it feels superior. I feel good.
I feel good.
Feels
On Monday, April 5th, so got a few more days to go before, because they say you're supposed to wait like it's not until 2 to 3 weeks after the second shot that you're fully inoculated and all that. So
wait, yours is the 5th? That's your good to go day? Is that what you said?
no, mine will be the 19th.
Okay, gotcha. Wriggly Sizzle. His
Okay.
is the 5th. This is
Okay.
the 5th. And
Okay, well-
I get my second dose on the 6th.
May 6th.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. K Rock's mom
6th.
just got her first shot yesterday.
Excellent. It's
so that's
amazing that it
good.
took her that they, she couldn't get it sooner. That's ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
And she's all healed up, right?
Yeah,
From
yeah.
her last-
She went to the
For those of you who don't know, she's a pit fighter.
Right.
In the evenings, she goes as a grandma Slage.
Sledge. Grandma Sledge.
Slage. Because
Sledge.
she's from Boston.
Right.
That's not how they say it in Boston. But when you get hit in the head that many times for how old is she now?
94.
94 years. That's a lot of ass kicking.
Yeah.
That's a lot of ass kicking.
Yeah.
Pit fighting.
Yep.
Grandma Slage. So, but she's doing well. She's all healed up from
she's
her last.
all healed up, all good to go there. Everything's good.
That's awesome.
And then she goes to get her second shot on the May 11th, I think it is.
Okay. It's happening.
Yep, it's happening. Everyone's getting there.
Yeah, I BT Wriggle, the Lemon Blade.
Lemon Blade. I forgot to
got
send
him
him in.
scheduled. And today. He got it scheduled today for I can't remember exactly when, sometime coming up soon. And I guess I'm gonna schedule mine too.
Yeah, that's be so.
All right. Your second one or your first one? Is this gonna be your first ad hoc?
That'll be my first, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Congrats.
So there's a major video delay on my side. How about you guys?
You are. Oh, you just froze, ad hoc.
No, I didn't.
You did for a second there. On my end, anyway.
Okay.
And your voice is not adding or matching up with your movement. Go 1, 2, 3. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
visual is behind your audio.
Oh, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah. It's
All right.
very.
visual is
Let
behind
me
it.
It's very. It's very.
let me shut some stuff, dude.
1973.
I probably need to restart my computer. Actually,
Oh, it's lined up.
Yeah.
Again.
Now you're lined up.
Just
What?
don't move a lot.
Yeah. Now
Yeah,
you're
you lined
yeah,
up.
you're perfect now.
You're perfect, Tom.
So whatever you had running, you shut down a second ago. That's what was causing the problem.
Shoot it down! Chop it down! I just drank a cup of coffee.
Can you tell?
all right. It's still lagging on my end.
There,
But not as
why don't you reboot, and then when you come back, I have a question for you.
That was a quick reboot. When you reboot, you know, yeah.
Hello?
What?
Is it synced? 1, 2, 3.
No,
Yes.
Still lagging. Still lagging.
you were
Oh,
on
yeah.
there, and during the cut,
Okay.
you could actually see during
It's
the
slow.
cut when you said 1, you were right on time. 2 was a little late, then 3 was obviously
1,
martial
2,
arts.
3. Yeah, there's still a second delay. It's okay. I normally don't experience this on my end. It's kind of weirded me out a little bit, so I'm just gonna come back.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay.
I'm back again. It's good.
Yeah, I'm back. What the good stuff. So, but you're feeling much better. You were down just for that day, for the most
No,
part?
it was Monday. I got the shot. We got the shot on Monday around 4 p.m.
Mhm.
We were all good all day Monday night, no problem. Monday went to sleep, no problem. A little sore arm, but nothing major.
Sauron.
Yep. Tuesday woke up, nothing major. Then somewhere Tuesday evening,
Uh-huh.
like after most of the day had gone by, Tuesday evening, we were like, what? Feeling kind of tired here. Maybe we should go to bed early. We went to bed early. We're in bed for like 13 hours Tuesday night into Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
Woke up tired, but we were like, all right, well, hey, all right. Got up, got some food. Was feeling kind of okay.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, let's touch base online, see what's going on. Later on, grabbed some food, and then just completely crashed out. And then we were just like, and then we woke up at like a little after midnight, and we were just like, what happened?
Wow.
It was really awesome. It was like passing out drunk, but we weren't drunk.
Just on the medicine.
Yeah.
Um.
And then Thursday was just very draggy. Thursday was my foggy head day. Like I couldn't, I couldn't. I just wasn't thinking straight. Like I was just like, what?
Were you in charge of people that day? Did you have?
No, I take it off. I took the whole week off.
Heard you missed me. I'm back.
I'm back again. Hello?
Do you have a
Like-
pencil?
Am I 1, 2, 3? Oh, that's much better. Much better.
About 75% better.
You're 75% better.
Every day, every second, I'm 75% better. So we're Jafar had her second shot,
Okay.
and little to no side effect. Very little side effect. The pain in the arm, a little run down, but nothing major. Thank goodness, you know what I mean? Which was
Right. Yeah.
great. Mm-hmm. And I had little to no side effect for my first shot. I had my afternoon nap.
Right.
But that kind of happens sometimes anyway. So it was like, it's my meditative 25-minute shutdown with the Zen. You are awesome. You are outgoing. I don't want to go outside. My affirmations. And then I was, up and out of man.
Nice.
Yeah. All right.
Nice.
Healed.
Oh, I heard that.
Daw.
Heard that 4 feet.
Daw. Speaking of the inoculated and such, and those of the big room, Riggedy Sizzle and Ad Hoc stopped by the Jafar Monk compound. Gosh, was that yesterday? I suppose it was. And we shot some hoops with the mini monks
Nice.
and the mini Jafars, and it was hilarious. It was hilarious. We had Curtis Blow playing and Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah. Good
Houdini.
planning on it. I'm bringing the boombox tee. That was a good call.
Yeah, brought the boom box and shot some hoops. And I had a great time. I had a really great time, I gotta say. The kids loved it too.
Ah, that's good, man. I mean,
Uncle Ad Hoc.
because we know really nothing is really your favorite sport.
Okay.
That's it. Nothing's really your favorite sport. But you're really doing diddle up around the art.
Yeah, nice. Doodle diddle.
I diddle diddle.
I doodle diddle up around the art. That was good. Still got it.
Still got it.
Yeah, it was just a good flow day. Ad Hoc came over and borrowed my green screen, and so I'd like to see that up and running. Actually, at some point, you said you gave it a go today?
No, mostly today I worked on Sage stuff. I've been in meetings, had an early morning meeting at 9 a.m.
Mm.
And K-Rock.
Hey,
I see
K-Rock,
you.
everybody.
I see you. We see you. Don't mind my cocaine nail.
Throw up the hand.
Don't mind my boogie picking fingernail.
These are my butt picking nails.
But yeah, was in meetings from like 9 to 2. And then we went out to eat over to Salem's.
Oh,
Salem.
Did you get the shawarma?
Chicken tiki masala, which I brought out to your place last time, and the
it's pronounced tiki
spinach.
masala.
That's right. When you're there, it is. and then and had that went for a walk, came back, took a nap, and then
Reset
woke
button.
up, went for a bike ride. It's a nice day out. Came back and ended up working on some other stuff. It was Sagey related. And that pretty much brought me up to here. I messed around a little bit with a green screen, but not your green screen. And definitely like
you got to build mine. Mine needs built. You know what I mean? It's a space taker offer.
You can actually see the edge of it right here.
Take it to the ledge. Oh, this is yours. That's a circular one.
Yeah, it's smaller and circular. So it opens up, and folds.
Trampoline.
It's not crinkles.
No, I said trampoline.
Oh.
Trampoline girl on 2. 1, 2. 2,000 big room box. What is that from? Trampoline girl on 2.
That's worth every big room buck.
I'm serious. 2,000 big room bucks. It's been a while. I haven't been giving them out because we had.
Hey, everybody,
you keep so much. We had to accumulate them again.
You might be able to trade these points into
Sage
gift cards, TK artwork.
Yeah,
Brian's writings in some form or another. You don't stick around long enough. What?
What is this called? Non-fungible. Fungible, non-fungible.
Oh, yeah. So, you heard about that. Yeah, so over the last 2 weeks.
I started researching it.
Yeah, that stuff blew up all over the interwebs. And what that is, NFTs, non-fungible trademarks, basically. You can, it's artwork. Very, it's interesting.
Well, it's actually going to be affecting more than just art. It's going to be affecting music. It's going to be affecting all things. Essentially, what it came down to is there's a chain code, something like that, thank you. That now digital
rights management.
Digital arts can be
owned by somebody other than the original artist.
What's the word I'm looking for? There's better security around it.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Oh yeah.
They figured out how to do the security around it a lot better. So now you can own a bit of a song, you can own a photograph, you can own a piece of artwork, and you can portionalize it as well.
Right.
So
Oh.
this actually is a big
wow.
turnaround. Yeah, this is a big turnaround for the music industry.
Proportionalizing it is a great idea.
So where so when it resells,
like
if the artist keeps 10%, when it's resold, that artist will get that 10%.
Yeah, so
this is actually helping the music industry as well, putting the music back into the artist's hands instead of through the record labels in some fashion, by the merch and selling a portion of the song rights. Doesn't have to go through a record label anymore. It can actually just go straight out to the highest bidder in some fashion. So it's an interesting kind of turnaround, and who knows how long it'll last? 5 years, 50 years, 500 years. You know, it'll like everything else, it'll bubble and shrink, and something else will come in.
Hey, we got a comment came in.
Hey,
Produttore. Legally around it, you can market nearly anything with it.
Yes, indeed. Cool. Like tonight. So
thanks for contributing to the conversation, Produttore. By the way, first time we've ever seen you. Non-fungible token. Yes, thank you. It's token. I knew I was messing up the T.
It was token, trademark, titties, toadstools. What are TKs? Tough to say.
Yeah.
But nevertheless,
it could be anything with a T.
Token entry
starts with a T.
If anybody can name a song by the band Token Entry, punk band from the 80s. Please post it in the comments below. But nevertheless, even this live stream could be owned by somebody
eventually. So it's like Michael Jackson bought a lot of the Beatles, but then I guess Sir Paul McCartney bought a lot of it back eventually, I heard. But more like the Bitcoin that I was struggling to buy a quarter of. And I remember I was trying to get to 0.25 just so I could remember it. So it's like a quarter, right? So I owned like 25% of a Bitcoin. And, I started that 5 years ago, and I got pretty close. I think I got like 0.22% of a Bitcoin. So something like that. Number. So, huh?
22 is a master number. So it's cool.
Oh, yeah, something like that. But yeah, so that's really cool, T. So, somebody can own a physical representation of your painting, and then somebody can own the digital rights. And here's where I see this going as well. The same way that Shazam can be used magically to identify basically any song that the app hears in seconds, the digital rights management will work similarly. So using AI, if it's played on YouTube, no longer do you just have to pull it. Like if you're part of a consortium that owns it, you could be like, use it. Just, the longer you use it, like the longer of a segment that you use of it, the more that it's played or whatever, like you pay per use. It's going to be a pay per use. It'll come down to pennies, but multiplied out by many. More people will be able to share in the artwork that they love, the music that they love, share rights to it. I mean, how cool to be able to own a piece of some of your favorite songs throughout history. And one of the dudes who worked with David Bowie and many, many others in Britain, he has a company. I think I mentioned this like either last week or the week before. That it was a Bowie, one of the Bowies, like he's a guitar player, and it's like one other dude in the UK that bought up a lot of hip hop rights and in the States, and I learned of that through the dude named, I think it was Dark Child. There's a producer called Dark Child who produced Dark Child. They like say his name, and like the beginning is like Dark Child. Whitney Houston in the 90s. He produced.
Lord!
Like
got a poop bubble.
Dark Child, yeah. He did some Destiny's Child. He did a lot of stuff, and he does it out of his home studio in Atlanta. And he just sold basically his whole catalog management, to this company as digital rights management in exchange for some shares of their company. So when they go public, he has founder level shares that'll get multiplied. And he was really, really happy with the deal because he's not only going to get a part of their company for doing it and being an early investor with his things, because other artists will follow. This is influencer marketing, very much similar to what I'm doing with Sage as well, which is, before 2016, you had to be a millionaire to be able to legally invest in a startup. You had to be certified as a millionaire or somebody who had made $200,000 3 years in a row. And if that wasn't you on your taxes, you were prohibited from investing in any startup. And in 2016, under the Jobs Act, Fair Act for startups, and unaccredited investors, basic average Joe working class people can invest up to $2,000 annually. So there's still an annual cap, but you can invest in startups. And now there's platforms coming up like Start Engine and a handful of others that are federally recognized that to own these properties and act as an exchange. So just like the New York Stock Exchange, if you invest in something, you have vested shares, they're vested for 2 years. After the vesting period, they accrue and you can start trading them and what do you call it? Leveraging them against other startups. So it's a really awesome way to kind of get into things, you know, where you can buy early and sell high, which is the way that is. But like with Uber and Lyft, you couldn't purchase stocks as an average person until they were already at $65 per share. And
right, so this is
can't buy very many.
So am I correct in understanding that this is just another way to taking apart the stock market in a way? It's creating
democratizing and decentral. In 2 words, it's decentralizing. Decentralizing means taking it from the few and distributing it to the many, giving access to the many. Now, you still have a choice. You don't have to do it. But if you want,
this is a new barter scheme that is being taken away from
a new
Wall
barter
Street.
scheme that's taken away from the 2%. It's decentralizing and democratizing. So the masses now can move from, it's called the cash flow quadrant. So when you trade your time for money, that's not a good position. You're always going to be in a position to trade your time for money. You have no leverage.
Turn in your money for your hours for a handful of dimes.
Produttore. GME stock
in
the system.
And it'll be 5,000 big room bucks if you can figure out who Produttore is, because I know who it is. I have the inside scoop.
Ah, nice, nice.
I'm going to give some monk bucks to these guys right here. If you can figure out who he is. He is a drummer and used to reside periodically above the keep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All right, go ahead. GameStop is another one they talk about as far as that goes. So jump back to Produttore's comments there.
And can we guess at Produttore as well? Or is it just for everybody else that's not in the room?
You guys can guess, but
we kind of know.
Jafar might know.
Does it start with a T?
Correct.
Okay, what's up, dude? Produttore. I don't know where you got the name from, but it's cool. Glad you're here contributing to the conversation. So, Wall Street Bets is the other one that just a couple months ago disrupted Wall Street. And they were a Reddit group that basically said, you know, hey, if we band together, we can really have a chunk and behave as what they call a whale, in which they splash down and they can create waves, and they can create FOMO. They can manipulate the market a little bit, and they did so successfully. So it's really awesome. So I'm glad to see this moving, because now we have a view of how blockchain can and will be used to become what's considered Internet 3.0. You know, in many ways, which means more interaction and more, just again more democratization, decentralization. Awesome stuff. So it's exciting, man. It's really cool.
Times. Yeah, you know what? There was a gentleman that came to the house that was speaking about it in terms of art and the sports world, and it was actually the first time I had heard about it, and I was kind of like, well, it just sounds to me like finally they wrote a program for the computer art world for them to be taken as seriously as a physical art form, especially as there's different platforms that are 3D art, where virtual reality art, you know, where you're able to create these 3D sculptures, you create this landscape and whatnot. And that's what I thought that was all about, just a security code. And in a way I was right. But it's so much more. There's a gentleman on YouTube by the name of Damian Keys, who I listen to for advice for the music industry. By the way, go to blackhatmoon.com and download and listen to all of the music on all of your favorite platforms. But and then that opened up a window to several other places. that we're talking about how it's going to affect. And I want to thank our future sponsor for tonight for keeping the big room smelling lovely when we're kicking out those pheromones. That is Dragon Blast by Old Spice deodorant. Yes, sir. You can get 0.3 something ounces for
It's just a good color too.
For something. Yeah, it's good. You know, I rely on it. Hey, I'm King Ad Hoc, and I rely on Dragon Blast every show. Get yours today.
Vroom.
Torre.
Vroom. Vroom. Speaking of old commercials from the big room, for those who do not know, in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, that's between two ferns move. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is our future producer.
Yeah, I broke the fourth wall.
Yep.
Third wall.
Fourth wall. It's the fourth wall.
In the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, let's say, we would redub or redo the audio from commercials that were from the early 80s, most specifically from the last episode of MASH that was recorded off of ABC or something like that.
Yes, I think it was.
Was it CBS? Yes. To VHS. And one of the commercials was for Reuniti on Ice.
Shall we watch it?
It's one of the best commercials.
It is. So Jafar was watching before this is hold on. You can bring it up, but Jafar.
It's how Jafar met the monk. It was because of the fame of this. She saw it on YouTube.
Well, you know, and that's how you all met us. That's how we're household names, is because of these commercials, of course. It's on YouTube. You can go check it out. So, nevertheless, she was watching on Hulu, and one of the commercials was for Barefoot Wine. We're all familiar with Barefoot Wine, and one of the commercials is "Drink this." Nice. Laugh with us. It's all of these, demands on what you should do on their alcoholic high product. And he invented that. It's in the 80s, this commercial. If Ad Hoc will bring it up now, it'd be beautiful. There are many things that we've done in the big room, and when we would see them on television shortly afterward, we'd be like, the bugs of the big room. The big room was often bugged and what's the word? Plundered? Or big ideas?
Yeah,
right?
plundered. Yeah.
And shared with the population, as well as the big word. Speaking of Whitney Houston, someone spoke of Whitney Houston earlier. When she was accepting awards, she took the microphone and her award, and she was like, "Esh."
Yeah.
And then she went on. That term "esh" was not copywritten at the time. So are you actually going to show the commercial, Ad Hoc? I've been
I can. I was letting you finish up there, and
I was trying to actually just fill that.
I'm going to bring it up, but I wanted to say, or do we want to introduce the person with the T, or are we going to wait?
I actually would like Produttore. I'd like to know if he would like to come join us in the big room, because if he would send a request, he actually too could be a live talking head in the big room.
Did you send him a request, Monk?
Word. No, not tonight.
Produttore is gonna come on the screen with us.
Grab it. Link.
Let's bring him on.
Well, BB, do you
bring him on,
his
and then we can.
No, I don't believe I do.
Well, I will share it with you momentarily. I believe.
One more thing about NFTs, non-fungible tokens. A lot of people believe that they're going to have, I guess you could resell anything really, but as long as it's tradable. But the images that are going to be used in video games, those are.
Where should I send it to, BB?
Wherever. You want to send it to me on Facebook or?
When I do Messenger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be best if you bring him in since
Hey,
my computer's
Produttore,
already
Hotmail?
laggy.
That's the only email I have for you, actually. So let's go to that commercial, shall we?
So I want to say I'm a little laggy again, and what I did was I didn't restart my computer, so I think I didn't clear the cache. So if I freeze, that would be what I'll do next. But I actually just went into I went into
Hey, Krampus.
Hey, Krampus! Good to see you, my brother.
What's up, dude? What's up, dog? You just missed a great conversation about NFTs, non-fungible
Yes,
titties.
Is this being discussed in the Romania?
What am I saying? I can't see this.
Non-fungible trademarks, non-fungible tokens. By the way, I had this.
Oh, and if you go to where are we at here? Well, tell them where they can find us on their own time in case it freezes up. By the way, ad hoc.
Hello, welcome to Anton's.
Just you'll go to D&D Redubbed, and you have to put D&D with an ampersand, and then it'll start off with our intro, and
but right now we're just going to share a commercial that has been blatantly ripping off our this very well-known commercial that we redubbed back in the late 80s, early 90s, and now Barefoot Wine, and we can't do anything about it, has used it, and it's not on YouTube. We were searching for it. I can't find it, but they kind of did their own version of our commercial that we redubbed back in the day.
Can we find the Barefoot Wine commercial and show that afterwards?
Jafar spent about like a half an hour trying to find it, and it's not on public domain yet.
Smell this.
all right, wait, hold up. I got to address something here. We got to address something. We got to start this over.
All right.
Number one.
Good to see you, Krampus. Gonna have to ask what you're drinking eventually here. We have another gentleman tonight, Produttore, who's new to the big room, but not new to the original big room. An amazing collaborator of mine for a couple decades now as well. Hopefully he'll be popping up and joining us.
I mean, I'd love to bring him on now. We can do like responses.
I sent the link to him.
Great.
Has Produttore ever seen these? Has Produttore ever seen these? I think Krampus might have seen this actually.
Possibly. Well, I'm going to mute my mic and we can run it. And
Krampus, you got to tell us if you ever saw these commercials that we produced back in the 90s, 80s.
80s or 90s?
We ran them during a stream not too long ago. I can't remember if Krampus was.
We did, and they were first
like
aired
3 weeks
actually before. Was it Pulp Fiction?
Interview with the Vampire.
Interview with the Vampire.
California with a K.
Right. When that was aired on the University of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it was either Interview with the Vampire or Pulp, or both of them. I don't remember
which would say 90.
Oh, I think it was
94, 95. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
But they were created before that.
Wow.
All right. Let this commercial run. This is the original. That Barefoot Wine is running a knockoff commercial of this on Hulu at the moment.
Amazing. But anyway, ours is better. Here we go. And first.
And a comedy.
Run with me! Ha! Smell this! That's the sound of the pig! Eat this! Walk with me! Look over there! Feed me! Pour me a drink! Chill this! Drink this! Explain this to me! Run with me! Wear my coat! Drink this! Take my picture! Ha! Laugh at me! We don't need it, Willoughby!
Explain this to me. He's pointing at artwork.
A wizard man summoning from I don't know where. Suddenly in existence. Produttore.
Hey, Produttore! Explain this to me.
Buonasera.
Produttore, la 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 la.
Ad hoc, close this. Good to see you. Welcome to the Digital Big Room, Produttore.
Good to see you, Produttore.
What's
Good to see you, man. Looking good. I like the den. The den looks dope.
It's coming together.
Coming
Hey.
together.
Yeah, man.
Krampus,
Can I just ask him like right away, like what?
are you drinking?
It's a sad evening. It's just the Miller 64, a little light beer.
Oh no.
Little light beer. I know. I'll step it up. I'll step it up. I just finished. I had to finish recording a podcast, and it ran late. Anyway, and I was like, "Oh, I'm up and doing things. I might as well reach out." So
now let us for those of you that don't know, Produttore is a true producer in many fields: the live stage, the event production. He's helped produce. I don't know. Can I say this or not? It was Lady Gaga and Weezer for certain events that no human being that isn't of a certain bracket was actually invited to. But he did stuff for Oprah as well, and
congratulations on that. That's dope. That's big time.
Yeah.
I mean, Lady Gaga is pretty good too, but Oprah, come on.
Tupac Oprah.
The big O.
Yeah. She billionaire with a B status.
She give you that O face. So who was who was your podcast for this evening?
This one was not. It was for the same to go unnamed brand.
Okay.
So nobody of notoriety from a fan base perspective. It was all internal people. But talking about the subject, so I help to produce. It's a monthly podcast, and it's meant to be. It's meant to be relative to some sort of like key moment within the month. So this is Earth Day.
Within the month? Did you say monk or month? You said monk, right?
Monk. Yeah, every monk.
Every month. Key moments of the monk.
Yeah.
Right.
And this one was about Earth Day being in the month of the monk of April. So this was about resource allocation and a little bit more science behind going green and things that people can do. So good topics. It's great stuff, but not a publicly broadcasted. It's not for everyone. So
it's not a party like the Big Room. We party here every week. Once a week, every Wednesday.
He thought you were Italian. Well,
I am.
He's American. He was born in America from Italian lineage.
That's right. That is correct.
Italian cleavage? That's really a strange place to be. She was like Athena. Her breast just opened up and birthed.
It happens.
It
happens.
Nice.
It happens.
She was Greek, but I'd say that they have similar roots.
It's all Greek to me.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, welcome to
Mother
the Digital
Mary. He
Big
was
Room.
divinely inspired.
Krampus, again, the doors are open to you.
Meanwhile, back to the commercials. Just kidding. We got to pause for this commercial break. Sponsored by us.
That's coming. And Old Spice Dragon Blast.
And Dragon Blast. We will eventually get sponsored
The
by
total, like you got to wear the lavalier and then do the Zach Galifianakis, like. Yeah, it's perfect.
It is.
Like perfect.
And when we cut to it, like the sword wall, we'll switch the background out so it's just the swords, and we'll just blast that right in the middle. Of the
what are
sword
you doing over there, ad hoc? You've got the green screen. I mean, get your switch going. Do some live
switching.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I had actually multi cameras set up here as well. It's it's a bandwidth issue at this point. I don't have fiber coming into the studio, so I don't think that's going to be quite possible in a live scenario at this point. But we are getting ready. I do want to test it for something. We'll see how it plays. We might have a little something coming up with it. We're just
everything takes time.
Experimenting.
Everything takes time. So
yeah, we started this in March of March, April, May of last year. No. We're coming up on our 1 year anniversary right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Your man.
And it's evolved dramatically. If the Rev was here tonight, he would tell you. And some of the intro, some of the photography, the stills from the intro are still from.
Actually, I remember
the first season.
I remember the monk though telling me that he spoke with you, about Twitch about that same time, which was cool because I kind of introduced Twitch to these guys.
Yeah,
and we moved pretty quickly. You know, we set it up. We went from Zoom meetings saying, "Hey, if we're going to be on lockdown, what if we can hang out and watch movies like we're in the big room?"
Totally. Watch parties are huge. Yeah.
Yeah, it started in March, you know, and then we were up and running on Twitch by April, and I was experimenting with multi-camera shoots in the in my home studio here, and
some of the technology actually didn't exist for us to watch at the time.
Yeah,
you recall trying to do it, and it kept shutting us down, and then it was a couple months in, then the technology actually was brought to the public.
I mean,
well, StreamYard is a SaaS. It was kind of the missing element for us to be able to basically do this, you know, where we can all be in here and have, you know, actually share.
So I'm not
real time.
I'm not overly familiar with the inner workings of Twitch. Is this an OBS or is this built into it's OBS?
Yeah.
No, it's a SaaS, software as a service.
Oh, streamer.
OBS would probably be lighter weight, but Brian, we actually tried. What were we using at the beginning, Brian? That had OBS is like the back end.
Yeah, it
had OBS as a backbone. It was built upon OBS, but
Stream Elements.
Stream Elements, yeah. So it had a SaaS component to it. It did pretty good, but we weren't able to stream like YouTube as much as we would like. Somehow,
sure.
I don't know.
It was very difficult to get. It was very difficult to get multiple people reacting to shared video at the same time.
Yeah.
This one we've had actually like 8 people. We subdivided this into 4 more, and we've had them all live. I actually had less lag than I'm having now.
No, it's great. Honestly, when we do broadcasts, so it's talked about Oprah and stuff. When we do that broadcast, I mean, it's one of these windows would be an output from a studio. So you could do a switch broadcast studio. Instead of seeing me, you would see the production, right? So you could have everybody watching, and then the view party is my window. So you would see, instead of me, it could be like a 2-person interview on a green screen, or, you know, XR stage or something, you know, over the top. But yeah, so it's the idea behind it is all baseline from all of this stuff. It all started 100%. Like when everybody went into pandemic lockdown, it was like all of these things started to escalate. And, you know, we were talking about the NFTs. You guys were talking about the NFTs. I was texting with the monk earlier about it as well, because there's, you know, live events are starting to come back. But what's happening in that industry is everybody's talking about hybrid events, right? And back in the day, in the before time, when you talked about a hybrid event, it was this like pretty linear, straightforward like concept. We're going to have a live event, and we're going to send that content to a remote audience, right? So before, it used to be satellite trucks and all this other like, you know, way of doing that. But it was, I'm watching a stage show for a live audience, and I'm having a vantage point like you're watching TV. Now the conversation, I believe, the way we think about that marketplace is creating a third unique experience that is a combination of all these things. And so thinking about like the idea behind NFTs, right? So that token is, you can use that for something very tangible, or you could use that for an experience. And I think that's where, when you think about hybrid events, like that's where the money goes, is the experience, like where you invest into. I get to do something, especially as we come out of the pandemic. People are going to be anxious to like do things. So the tangible stuff is great, but I think it's the beyond that curve. It's about an experience. Like, how do I enhance whatever it is I'm doing? Maybe it's an augmented reality, like, you know, a VIP booth. And so you're at a live concert in this VIP booth, and you're able to watch specifically customized like animations that are happening in your augmented like vantage point because you've got that experience, right? So just little ways of like thinking through those things, I think helps enhance like all of that stuff.
And I think as VR technology starts to advance, where you can have multiple cameras, so the event itself, even if it's pre-recorded, you're able to access the performance
Krampus,
from your own standpoint. You know?
How did we get that link to you before, Krampus? Did we?
I'll send it.
All right.
Yeah, it's fascinating times. Did anyone watch Caprica? It was an offshoot of the reboot of Battlestar Galactica.
I have had
No.
The premise, Eric Stoltz was in it actually, and I didn't watch the entire season, but it starts out pre Battlestar Galactica era.
Right.
While all of these planets are at their apex before the whole AI. What were they called? The Cylons, the rise of the Cylons. And it was it was before the Cylons actually existed. And it was as the virtual reality AI was starting to get hold of the youth culture, and much of their activity was spent in these virtual worlds, and where atrocities could happen. There were live sacrifices, live sex rooms, and everything that the internet has, but now they were experienced in a VR reality. And it was all of this information and VR that then became live and active and inserted into the Cylon race and and all of that. It's fast.
I'll tell you some of the
but
nerdy tech behind it.
So these specialized events, these behind the scene events, that's kind of, I suppose, the route that everything is going. Everybody is being clustered, and you can access the other side of the planet in real time, in a specialized pay-per-view experience. You're paying for the experience, like you said. So yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Caprica, check it out. You were saying, Ad Hoc?
Yeah, I was going to really nerd everybody out and just say that the tech that made this all possible, I find it interesting as somebody who likes to get under the hood a little bit as a tech geek. Because it opens up. You have to at some level. If you're a producer, okay, of audio, which I've always been, back to the days of 1/4-inch cassettes, which are everybody else just called tapes, but they were 1/4-inch tape. And professional studios recorded on 1/2-inch or usually 1-inch, but 1/4-inch was accessible to everybody. And it goes back to our breakdancing days, the Monk and I, where we would actually edit this stuff, and and sometimes the tape
mashups.
And would have you'd get the pencil and you'd scoop it out of there, and if it was too crumpled and you couldn't stretch it back, you had to splice it, you had to scissor it, and you put the little piece of Scotch tape underneath, and somehow that thing held.
Yeah, that's how films were edited.
The width of 1/4 of an inch would hold that tape together,
and still the audio would come through, which is amazing.
Yeah, and so we would do some rough cuts that way. And what's crazier is that everybody knows knows that I'm a big The Artist Prince fan. Purple Rain was actually edited, and going back even to Sign of the Times album was edited on 1-inch tape, cutting it the old way. So it was linear edited, not like it was, there was some element of it that was there was some element of it that was still stacking, tapes, but they actually had to still physically cut tape all the way up to, through the mid 80s. I mean, when was Sign of the Times? 86. I'm sorry. 80. Yeah. 87. So yeah, a lot of that was like Wendy and Lisa are on recorded saying, like they did some editing. I think it was, I think they were talking about Pop Life actually, and which was
around the world in a
day.
It's like anytime there's sort of that sunset for a technology, you've always got the lingering folk of like, they don't make them like they used to. They don't. I walked 7 miles uphill both ways, right? So
Yeah.
you have this like lingering, folks from any of those sort of like sunsets that are like, the right way to edit this is to do it the old-fashioned way. It's got a different feel, or it's got a different, different
compression. Usually, it's a compression issue. There's an audio compression that happens with analog, and from an audio file perspective, you would agree, but the reality is that most people don't listen to it on hi-fi enough to differentiate the difference. Most people their listening environment, so you have to mix for the listening environment, which is a laptop and headphones nowadays.
Well, I mean, the difference, and this is where studios come in, right? Like, why am I going to invest in a technology that takes that much time and that much energy if I'm trying to sell records to people that don't care, to your point, to that level of stuff? What's one of the other things that reminded me of this when you're talking about the cassette tapes or the quarter inch is some of the early audio recordings that I did. I had a bunch of old VHS tapes that I would track on those as just dropping the material into that and use that as like playback. And when I got into production, like actual video production, it was like beta tapes were still a thing, which is far gone at this point, but yeah.
Ad hoc, can you send it?
No, I got sidetracked at Krampus. Because what I did was I looked you up, but as Krampus, and I know that's not your email, so you're not actually showing up. So I'm gonna need to have you resend it. Oh, wait, you know why? I remember I was in the wrong email. I was in King Ad Hoc Gmail. You sent it to the big room at Gmail. Okay, wait, hold on. We will retrieve you. We will retrieve you. But listen, let me just finish this thread up real fast, because this is actually before you were born, Krampus.
Send him the link anyway, dude. That way
I will, man. I'm working on it. But listen, here's the thing. It's in the. Well, if you want to look it up, Bri, it's in the big room. I went into the wrong. It's in Big Room Entertainment at Gmail. I went into the wrong email. But what I wanted to say is what makes this possible with 10 of us in the same room is that somebody had the. It took this long up to just. Actually, I think maybe several years ago, maybe 4 years ago, that by using Wi-Fi to connect each computer, right? And Tim, you would know about this because the innovation happened in the industry that you work in, which is largely, business people getting together and figuring out how to like get a school to do live events and stream, to simultaneous. And like they were using Cat 5 and Cat 5 wasn't doing it. And then they discovered that the bandwidth is actually wider on a wireless if you connect via Wi-Fi. And when they did that, they had to create a couple pieces of hardware and to throw the signal. But it's been game changing, and that was pretty recent, within the last 5 years, I think. Right? Is that true?
All right, guys, it's on its way.
Yeah, and it's the technology. When I first got into this, I was like super tech nerd and on top of my shit. And the pace in which technology advances now is insane. Every week I could go onto the marketplace and learn something new about something that I'm like 10 years behind somehow. Like it's just all of these things. And but yeah, I mean, like the ability to do what we're doing now is 100% what pushes us to that dynamic. And what I think is always interesting and what kind of sets the mold or the curve for what happens next is not necessarily what is the new technology, but it's how are you utilizing the tools and resources you have in a way that can change and disrupt the approach, right? Because then that forces people to refine and change. When all this happened, Zoom had a huge security issue. So
okay. Okay.
Lots of people didn't want to use them. So everybody was like, "Well, WebEx is secure. Let's use WebEx." WebEx sucks, right? Like it's just like the compression for audio. Like if I wanted to do live broadcasts or any of that stuff, WebEx is not the route to go. They lock you in. They do all of this stuff. Zoom, on the other hand, is wide open, and it's higher quality audio, higher quality video. There's a lot more like user friendly. Like the UI is done really well. But people were shying away from that. And so through the process of like going in and doing all these things, like conversations are happening with the powers that be at Zoom, and they went in and they invested and they changed their securities. And every day they're like, I personally know they're getting emails about things that they should be doing to improve their services so that it can help support sort of the new realm and world that we're in, and there's no going back, right? Like there's no like this is great now it's over. Like there's no going back.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
you can,
Which is awesome for
Return to
us
normal.
to be
It's
like,
a new normal. All
we're
things
not
evolve.
millennials. We're like,
Yeah.
I'm coming up on 50 years on this earth, Mo.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
On this earth. That makes me want to roll the old David Lee Roth. This old David Lee Roth MTV videos. Remember those?
Yeah, that was Dave TV.
Where's that bag?
Oh,
Summons from across the great pond,
yes.
the wasteland of Romania. Travis.
Welcome,
Travis!
Travis.
What's
Let's
up,
get your
dog?
audio up.
Can we hear you,
Good to
Travis?
see you.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, you popped in right there, Romania.
You there, Krampus?
I am. Can you hear me?
Hey, all right. Hey, Krampus, we all
Okay.
have a question. We've been talking. Sorry, that, we couldn't ask you sooner, but we all have a question for you.
Wait. I just. Okay. I fixed my microphone. I was with the camera microphone before.
Gotcha. What? Oh, you just got to see this?
What?
What are you drinking?
Hey,
Oh my gosh, I'm
Two-Boy
sorry.
beer.
I think that was Brian. Did I you were both trying to do it, right?
Yeah, you got it.
All right.
You
All
know,
right. So what type of fermented beverage is that, Krampus, from Romania?
It's not from Romania. Actually, it's from Denmark. It's called
even
Tuborg.
sexier.
I believe you guys have it in the US as well.
Tuborg.
Tuborg.
I'm not familiar. I've never had it. If
No?
we do.
Yeah, it's found all over Europe.
Is it a pilsner? What type of is it dark, light, amber?
No, it's a light beer, just made out of
Wheat.
normal ingredients like water.
It's like a
Um,
pilsner or a lager variety.
Yeah, we call it the blonde beer.
The
okay,
blonde.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Love a good blonde.
By the way, I'll just volunteer and I'm drinking a little martini with what's in the background. Normally, what you can see, and I have 3 shots of Burnett's, 1 shot of Tanqueray London, and just a splash of the Martini Rasti Asti Spumante.
Celebrate life.
It's not the Asti
Oh,
Spumante, it's the Martini.
Professore,
the Martini
nice to meet you. The other guys know me already. Buonasera or buongiorno, what it is for you?
Hey, yeah,
Is it day or night?
Yeah, it's the evening here for sure.
Oh, okay. Do you
Yeah,
guys
I
already know that,
Krampus, it's like
the
4
Romanian
a.m. where you're at.
Yeah, it's 5 a.m. actually. It's 4:58.
Woo.
Time for
Do
work.
you guys know like the Romanian and Italian language are really close and like with words and stuff, really close languages, really similar. And for example, for water they say aqua, we say apa.
Apa.
For home they say casa, we say casa as well.
Nice.
A lot of similarities. So, for
Several of the
example,
Romance languages have that. It's interesting.
Yeah, Spanish as well. We share a lot of words with them as well.
But you would think that would be again like Italian, but like Greek would be different somehow.
Yep. It's all Greek to me.
So, look,
There it is again.
Is again.
It's funnier the
Well, hey,
second time.
Krampus, man, thanks for the dedication, bro. Thanks for the dedication, staying up late, partying. How's your schooling coming along, man? How's everything going?
It's coming along great. I recently had the partial exam. I got the maximum grade for it.
Boom, boom.
Nice.
Congrats.
Your boy is doing good in school.
Right on.
Yeah.
No, boy.
And
I crush
just
it in everything I do, so just keep doing that. That's all you got to do. Just crush
I
everything
didn't
you
get
do.
the
You
email.
bring your
Look,
top game.
I said I would help you, but you didn't send me any emails.
It's still
about
going
it.
on, brother. It's still going on. We'll get it. We'll hook up. We'll hook up on that. Sorry about that.
Okay, I recently started a business as well. Me and
Okay.
What fashion?
a brother from my club.
Nice.
He has been
By the
Yeah,
way.
he has been working in the auto business for like 20 years or something. He's 42 years old, And so I partnered up with him to cut the dealerships, and we bring cars directly to the clients, and then we split the profit half and half.
Nice.
And
Congratulations,
going.
man.
We hope to get as many cars in stock as we can to the end of the year.
Right on. That's gonna definitely.
I'm gonna make like 300 or 400 euros per car. And last month, my partner sold 6 cars, so it's going fine.
Good.
All right, congratulations. Yeah, people are always going to need cars. I mean, it's not going away anytime soon. We're not going to flying jets or anything, or hovercrafts just yet. Or drones. Two-person drones. Not quite. Fifth Element. Multi-level. Not quite yet. We're not there.
The advantage.
I think we got a good 10-year buffer on that.
Yeah, we have loyal clients that come only to us, and so we have a steady income.
And that's key.
Right.
That's those are your baseline. Those are the people. Here's the NFT trick. Going back full circle. Full circle. Here's the NFT trick. Right? How can we for those loyal customers, what are things you can do to incentivize them? Right? Hey, every so often you get a this or get a that. They become marketers for you, right? They're going to be out there spreading the word, growing that
exactly
that market. So it's that's
evangelism.
good.
Because this stuff still works. Like if you make a good impression on a client, he's gonna tell like his friends or his colleagues, and the word would spread around. And if you get good impressions, and if you're always respectful and polite,
so
this
should
still works and is underrated.
People business. It's about people. Almost everything that exists is because of the interaction with humans. It's why live events will come back. It's why we're never all going to stay away. Like there's something very tribal about that connection between human beings. And 100%. The way you approach that in everything that you do has long lasting impact, and especially in business, my opinion. But like it's like,
well, so here's the key. As they say, data is the new gold. So our jobs as entrepreneurs is to capture metrics at this point, and it's not necessarily in any nefarious way. It could be in a very mutually advantageous way. As you say, we could gamify and reward the early adopters, right? So to create to make them feel like they're more part of the company, and honestly, they are. Like you're either going to pay for marketing's never. As long as you have a company, you're always going to be in need of marketing. You're either going to pay for it, or you're going to have customers that will evangelize for you. But that takes nurturing, right? Like you got to stay in contact. And it's just like any relationship. The cool thing is, I will have to say, just from being on Earth so long and having the wisdom that comes with age, is that there's certain people, and they're few and far between, that you become brothers with. You can understand. You make a connection that's like it's all comes down to people want to do business with who they know, they like, and they trust. But there's certain people you just don't connect with, and there's certain people that you can form a bond. But the more time you spend with somebody, the more you can strengthen that bond. And obviously, we all have bros, and we all have family, and that's like first round marketing. But beyond that, everybody else wants to see metrics and a growth roadmap. But it's cool that we're all in that realm, and we have the technology to capture relatively painlessly. I'm surprised at what American companies want to be a software as a service, a SaaS as it is in the tech industry, providing a software as a service, which I don't need to build that as part of Sage to capture emails and do follow-ups and all that. There's like MailChimp and there's other third-party solutions that are pretty reasonable to manage email follow-ups and things like that. But you definitely want to email data is gold, and you don't want to rely on just like Facebook, at this point, but yeah, YouTube has some pretty awesome marketing possibilities. But at the end of the day, you want to have your data on something that you own, and be able to market that. And it's so cool too that even with Twitch, these broadcasts and whatnot, but talking about NFTs again, to bring it around again to that conversation, when we started hooking, like the three of us, it was because we're bros. And it was because my world would be inherently different in a shittier way if these two guys didn't exist in it, because they've always been part of my recollection. They're my rocks. We like, and everybody likes what they're familiar with, but our family, our reality, our bros. So I was like, dogs, like, how can we hang out? If we can't hang out physically, how can we do it virtually? And we just started exploring that. And thankfully, all of our intellectual capacity is high enough that we can kind of get under the hood and start twinkling things together and plugging things together and making it work. Kind of which I really want to segue and give you two guys the enjoyment of something we did over 20 years ago with 2 VCRs. Okay, you're gonna press me at the technique here. We made it. We were in our new double digits.
Share some history with them.
We're talking about the commercial.
Yeah, we were like, Brian, how old were we?
What was that? That was really weird.
You were like,
I was like,
what the hell did I just see?
You said I've probably seen it. I've never seen it in my whole life.
Brian, would you like? Brian, how about BB? Can you set it up for Krampus? Like very briefly, like what D&D was like. It's a role playing game. Are you familiar with role playing games, Krampus?
Yeah, I like RPGs. Actually,
RPGs.
my
all right, you know the abbreviation and everything. You're already halfway there, bro.
My favorite game is The Witcher, so I'm a big Witcher fan.
Is that a digital game or is it a?
It integrates digital,
Nice.
And movies, actually, film.
Yeah, the new series on Netflix.
Yeah.
With Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill, oh my god, it's fucking brilliant. Just perfect for the role, man.
I saw he's so great because he's into it, right? Like
that's exactly.
He's not just like showing up and being an actor. I think.
I don't know if you guys know, like the cast for Henry Cavill was obviously really hard, but because for these big series on Netflix, you never quite see an A-list actor like DiCaprio or those guys. You see like mid-level actors that become famous because of the shows, and so. The creators, when they casted Henry Cavill, it was perfect because Henry Cavill is a big gamer, and he was actually a big fan of The Witcher beforehand. And when he got wind of they were making the new series, he was really into it and got
brilliant
to the casting, and he's really passionate about it, and that's
so very astute of you, my friend. This guy, which we're about to share with you, there was a show in the 80s. In the 1980s called Fantasy Island. And it was a great, brilliant concept in which people would pay money to go and have a virtual experience. And when they entered the island, they never spoke of hallucinogenics or any mind-altering drugs. But yet, by entering the island, it was like driving into the legendary Bermuda Triangle off the coast of Florida, where planes, if you fly over it, sometimes planes just disappear. Is it have something to do with the magnetism of Earth?
Ships do.
It's just because the Earth is magnetic, right? We're all magnetic systems. We're all humans have a north. You know what I mean? We talk about this, but for some reason they went to Fantasy Island. They got there. It was a magical place, and where dreams could become reality. And you lived in this, and he ended up. What's his name, BB?
Ricardo
Montalban. You guys want to roll this? Did I do enough setup? BB, can you send it?
He was calm. He also in the second Star Wars. BB, you want to talk about that? You're a big Star Trek buff.
Widely considered the best of the Star Trek movies. Star Trek 2.
I've actually never seen Star Trek movies.
No,
Get out.
I'm a big Star Wars fan, so if we're gonna talk Star Wars, I'm the guy. But Star Trek, I've never really gotten into it.
Star Trek has always been a very cerebral show that dealt with a lot of modern issues like race.
Star Trek was the first. It was the first show.
I know it was the OG fantasy show.
Yeah, it was the first television show of any kind in America that featured an interracial kiss. It was Kirk kissed a horror.
Really?
Yes, it was the first back in the 60s, and it changed.
Why is it got to be horror? So, why you got to put horror? I mean, like.
But it had Back this is back
I'm a
in the
fan
late
of any
60s.
of that.
Yeah,
genre.
late 60s, and they had Sulu, who was a Japanese character, Chekhov, who was Russian, and they were all part of the crew together. And this is back during the Cold War, and not that long after World War II, when people were like, "We don't serve Japanese people here," and they put together this crew of, "Hey, here's the leader, here's an alien, the second in command." Then we got a
It was like
black
Sly and
woman.
the Family Stone.
Yeah, a black woman that's totally in charge of communications, and a lieutenant, and and then all these other races and all that. So it kind of dealt with, and it continued on that through the next generation, where they dealt with things like transgender individuals and
asexual and on the science scale, like they're
and the right to end one's own life.
And AI rights and those that are, what is considered life.
Yeah,
and the universe itself considered life. Different sections of the universe were being explored as life forms instead of, a body holding a consciousness. It was, it's really fucking fascinating.
And way back in the first series, there was an episode. The name of the episode, this is how big of a Star Trek fan I am, is Space Seed. It's called Space Seed, and it co-starred Ricardo Montalban. And he played Khan, a character named Khan Noonien Sung, who that name pops up repeatedly.
What is this? What is this sign? What are you doing?
Giving some gangs. I'm trying to make up gang symbols for Star Trek. I didn't
say he's L7. He's square.
But the character's name was Khan Noonien Sung.
I know the guy that does this with his hand.
Yeah, you're right, bro. Krampus, that is all we had to do right there. That is it. Right there.
So that was
it's like may the force be with you. Is that right?
Right.
Live long and prosper.
But way back then, Khan was a bad guy. He was supposed to be a genetically manipulated guy from the 1990s, is what it's supposed to be, where there was a eugenics war. Yeah, so far 30 years in the future. This is insane. But Khan was this character that took over like half the planet or something like that.
This is a frame from a Dungeons and Dragons redubbed episode. So in the 80s, there was a film made about the RPG, the first RPG ever, Dungeons and Dragons, which we played. Yeah, we played early versions of this at our very young ages. And we were in our young double digits when we
first released. Actually,
we were in our young double digits. As I said, I was about 11 years old and 12 years old when I was splicing 1/4-inch tape together for breakdancing. And then it was we were in the big room at Prize, and he had 2 VCRs. And I was like, "Yo, can we connect them together?" And BB Rumble was like, "I don't know. It does have the input and output jack." And I said, "Do we have a cable to do that?" He's like, "I don't know. Let's look." And he's like, "Hey, Dolly, we got a cable to connect this microphone?" Because we had a microphone and it had an input. There was a 1/4-inch input on the front. And we found it. She found it. She helped us find it. Little shout out right there. But and then we linked the 2 in the back, and we figured that it was linear editing, not non-linear editing. So this, again, bringing the story around to non-linear editing. It was destructive. It's also called destructive editing. So we would press play, and we would have to time it. And we would do 3, 2, 1. And I would press play slightly before the monk would press record or vice versa, depending on who was controlling the mic. We had 1 microphone and 3 of us. So we would hold the microphone centralized, circle around it, and if you weren't doing the main voice, you had to be doing a sound effect. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're going to share with you right now.
Wow.
The commercials. Oh, I'm sorry. One more thing. The commercials, though, these 2 guys wrote and produced. I wasn't part of that. I was in college and having to write some papers and shit. And these guys just blew my mind. And I came back. They're like, we're going to do. I was like, I said, let's dub the commercials too. So let's keep them in sequence and do not only the episode, So we redubbed the cartoon, okay, with adult content. We rewrote the script and did all the voices. And he did like 3 voices. I did like 3 voices. T did like 3 voices. We all did it in that style and in non-linear destructive editing. But I was like, let's do the commercials too. And we did that. But I ended up having to work on a paper. And these guys like were so prolific. They came back and were like, we did 3 commercials tonight. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm not on any of these, but it's fucking brilliant. They blew my mind. I love them. And honestly, they kind of fucking stole the show and became almost my favorite part of it. So what you're going to see here is a little splice of one of the characters that I did called Negro. Because
before South Park did the token Negro thing, we were pointing out that there's in white America, there's always only one black person allowed in the cast, and it's complete fucking bullshit. So we were calling,
they call them the token, and South Park has done a lot to break down those barriers since then. And Trey and
South Park is great.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Family Guy as well.
But I think we did. I think we did a lot of this dubbing when from the ages of like 14 was a cartoon, and then I was like, then the commercials were done when we were like, I think about maybe how old were we? Like maybe 20, maybe like 19 or something.
19, when we for a while there, when we had done the original, recording when I think he was like 11, and you and I were around 13.
But that wasn't this particular. Then we went through and redid it.
Right. Because if we took a piece of paper that we glued to one of the VHS tapes and we wrote on it, "The genius of an 11-year-old greatly hampers the genius of a 21-year-old," because
we were trying to put a storyline together.
Because we had put together what we thought as 11-year-olds was a genius rewrite of our cartoon. And then when we were looking to make it a cohesive storyline at 21, we came to the conclusion that the genius of an 11-year-old can greatly hamper the genius of a 21-year-old.
Knowledge and wisdom are slightly different. Wisdom requires a time quotient.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to get that tattooed on my neck.
Right. Yeah, right.
That's just going across like this.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe right here, maybe like a little swoop on the chip. That'd be sweet.
I'll be right back.
Are you guys ready for this though? Is that enough setup? Is that enough setup? Here we go. You guys ready? The monk.
Sure. Well, Monk's leaving.
Monk's seen this a million times.
Follow me. This way. Hey, release Fido, the mutated hound. Come on.
What the hell is that? Run with me! Ha ha! Smell this!
I know we already saw this, but we're gonna let it roll.
This. Walk with me! Look over there! Feed me! Pour me a drink! Chill this! Drink this! Explain this to me! Run with me! Wear my coat! Drink this! Take my picture! Ha ha! Laugh at me! We don't need it, they will obey!
I feel like I'm watching a meme.
Right?
From hell's heart, I state the greatness of this car. It's a fantasy car tattoo. It's fantasy to join Ponce de
This is your voice, Bibi, right?
Yes.
And you can find the fountain of youth behind the wheel of a Chrysler Cordoba, a Chrysler New York. Chrysler! A muy macho car. Improv my ass, you're fired. Bite me the shitty car.
Okay, now I'm not quite getting the gist of this conversation. You're trying to relay something that's apparently important to you that deals with your location. Is this correct, sir? Yes, I realize that. But as I've said, it's a very large business complex with many people in the house, as you say. Who are you trying to reach? Yes, but it's the location of this house that's causing my dilemma. My house, your house, the White House. Listen, I've got a lot of people waiting. Can you just leave your name?
Fellow Pennsylvania,
hello,
we're
sir?
systematic in our terror.
Sir, hello. Just one more time, please, sir. Today on Alice, Mel kisses Flo's grits.
All right, cut that.
Overlook is a monster.
I totally forgot about Pepe the
Pepe the
Oversight.
Oversight.
Pepe the Oversight.
I feel like this is internet gold.
This is internet.
Correct. You've heard it from me first, people.
when
If this doesn't get made into a meme, it's got the perfect ingredients for a meme.
100%. You should have your own channel for that, and we should get on Reddit, and we should be taking those things and using them for marketing all the other stuff.
One post on Reddit is enough, and the internet will do its thing.
That's true. This is true.
Pepe the Oversight's a hilarious character.
Ad hoc.
And I had totally forgotten about until I just thought about that.
And use that for your stage marketing.
You'll be like
played back very jumpy. I don't remember it being that jumpy. I don't know if that was something on the play. Like, wasn't it? It didn't record like that. I think you watch on YouTube individually. It'll be play.
If you watch it, it's completely smooth on YouTube. It must have been something going through the stream here that was making it jumpy.
Right.
Yeah, and plus that was actually uploaded about 12 years ago. Actually, yeah, that was actually uploaded when I was living in Hollywood, California. Yeah, so
that's right.
Predatore, we had a little overlap there. You were living in San Fran.
You came up when we moved out. I remember that.
That's right.
I came up. Yeah, I think I might have come up to help you guys move in. No, I came up right afterwards. I think I was pretty.
Yeah, I mean, it was like within the first.
No, you were there, right?
Yeah, you were there. Like we showed up. I think it was like within the first week.
Yeah,
it was in the first couple of days because you showed us where you helped us. I think you helped us unload, and then you took off and like scouted. This is before GPS and like looking on your phone where to get groceries. You're like, I'm gonna go find a grocery store for you guys.
Oh yeah, where did we yeah, that's right. We went to the store.
Probably wanted to buy some beer or wine. I wanted to buy some beer or wine in Chris' household. It had to be done.
Yeah.
It wasn't for groceries. It was for beverage.
I'm seeing a guitar in Pro Torres background on your left side. What is that? Is that a Les Paul Gibson?
No.
I'm saying only the top part of the neck.
No, it's an Epiphone.
An Epiphone.
Yeah.
Which you had it right, Krampus, because Epiphone models Gibsons.
Yeah. It's very.
No, that's nice.
It was a gift from the wife.
Epiphones play very well.
Let me just get my guitar.
It's so solid and it's just so clean. And honestly, like this thing just gets plugged directly in, so like it will last me forever.
Yeah. People love Epiphones. I mean, dual humbucker. Yeah, you got the dual humbuckers. Is that a Gibson? You got the dual humbuckers there, Krampus.
No, this is not a Gibson. This is a Paul Reed Smith. The inlays, the bird inlays.
I see them. Yes, yeah. But still, you got the dual humbuckers there.
Yeah.
In the PRS.
Really nice. It's actually a limited edition. It's the Tremonti edition. Tremonti is a guitarist that made
tapper. He's a tapper, right? Bit of a tapper.
Partnered with Paul Reed Smith, and they made a limited edition. And I got one of these.
That's what's up.
Limited. It's a really cool guitar.
Yeah, the PRSs have a ever so slightly, like microscopically different shape, like millimeter different shape of the neck. They're slightly narrower than a Gibson, and they're preferred by many players for their reason. But just the contour of the back and everything, the C shape, it's slightly different, and it's amazing when you hold it in your hand. People have preferences.
The same quality as a Gibson, but far cheaper than a Gibson. So actually,
not far cheaper. Their PRSs are still pretty expensive. They do have. They have the economical version. I think Gibson's economical version is the Epiphone, where PRS is. It's still called a PRS. It's just called like the studio version, or I think it's called a PRS Studio. Or something.
Yeah, but if you want to buy a Les Paul Gibson, you gotta pay at least $2,000.
Yeah.
So for a Paul Reed Smith of the same quality, you'll pay like $700, $800.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's
up
about
to
the price I
over, a
paid
little over
from
$1,000. Yeah, they have those different ranges of quality. It's whether they're made in Mexico or Korea or the US, because what you're paying for is labor and what day of the week it was made. And you're always gambling whether it was made on a Monday and people were still a little groggy from the weekend, or it was made on a Wednesday and people were a little bit more alert. It could make the difference in the way they shave the neck. You know, you never know, and that's why every guitar is different. True story. Has to do
True
with the
story.
Yeah.
Do you guys know about it's a new cryptocurrency. It's called P, made from Stanford graduates. You guys know about it?
What is it called?
PI.
Yeah.
No, there's so many cryptos, bro. There's no way. to
Yeah,
follow.
so many. It's actually not.
I own Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah, those are the big
And
ones.
Litecoin, which was a
Like
bunk.
the Bitcoin is made on the blockchain, and the
Oh, yeah.
big cryptocurrency is not using the blockchain. It's using like I don't know how to explain this. I actually do know how to explain it in my language, but in English I can't find the words exactly for it how to explain it. But it's
Well,
different.
somebody told me that when the way to understand tokens, and this will contribute to what you're saying, Krampus, so I'm not hijacking the conversation. The way to understand tokens as an investment is that you're investing in a company. It's like, don't think of a token as a coin. Think of it as shares in the technology
Yeah.
that the company's trying to say, like, this is our vision and this is where we're going. So you're kind of crowdsourcing the vision, and that's the way you think of tokens.
Yeah, so in P, like for example, if you invite multiple people, they become your like small group. Like you're the big. It's called a contributor, and beneath you are the guys that are mining. I don't know if mining P is actually called mining, but it's actually only on the phones, and you just tap every once in a while on a button, and it does this thing like it mines like 0.0012 P's per hour or something like that.
Cool.
And if you have multiple people that you invited, you become a contributor and you earn those P at higher rates. And so for every new cryptocurrency, there are two big options. It can blow up.
Mhm.
That's a small if.
Right.
Or it can stay this way and not be a big thing. But for an application that I enter once in a while and just tap on something, why not?
Yeah, one of the big criticism about Bitcoin mining is the amount of energy that it requires from people's modems or their hard drives, right? Like basically their hard drives. So you're buying multiple hard drives in some format and just crunching the processing power. So to be able to do that over Wi-Fi, you're kind of like, it's interesting because you're just using your energy, but you're using their hard drive farm, right? So like that's interesting. Like to press a button, like you personally don't need to buy a hard drive and tie it into a separate computer that acts as a server, because that's what it's like, a server farm.
That's why it makes it interesting and stand out a bit.
It's a server farm in the cloud that you just need to every once in a while punch a button, and if you punch it,
there was the game Half-Life.
Yep.
And this was, I think, obviously precursor to the movie Ready Player One.
Great movie.
It's it's a great movie, and I've been mining that for information as I think about gamification for microsites. And anyway, but what we're just now talking about, I mean, that's sort of like virtual currency. There used to be like farms or camps or whatever where companies would pay or enslave people to go and sit and play to get the online currency and build equity in Half-Life.
Black Mirror style.
Yeah, and so it's the same, it's that sort of concept, right? Like I own the equity, or I own the server, or I own the what it is, and now I just need how am I solving my labor challenge, right, from a holistic perspective? And I'm going to offer you, shares, right, at a rate to do the work for me, and it drives that engine.
Basically,
right?
generate the energy as a humanoid. You generate the energy on a bicycle. I think that was episode 2 of Black Mirror. And what you say is like, I own the vehicle, but the vehicle is an engine, right? Like everything needs heat to generate to turn the pistons. And that was I think it was episode 2 or 3 of the Black Mirror. You guys all seen the Black Mirror?
I haven't seen
I haven't seen it.
You guys all fans of the band White Stripes and Jack White and his genius as like an artist, as a musician, regardless of like what genre you listen to regularly. I think we should all agree on that as creatives.
I mean, I think all guitarists know Seven Nation Army, so.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, everybody covered that,
Boom, boom, boom,
My wife says the other day that song came on. It was like a cover of that song, and she goes, "Oh, you know what? I really hate this band or whatever." I was like, "What are you saying?" And we talked about it. I was like, "You know who this is?" She goes, "No," and I was like, I played like 4 or 5 other songs. I was like, "What about this one?" And she's like, "Oh, I love this. I love this. This is the same person. Like, you don't hate that person." Like,
did the Brute Squad cover Seven Nation Army?
We did. Oh, it was too easy. It had come out like the year before. It would be too easy to not. Yeah.
Have you guys seen
by the way, Crosses, Pratore and the Monk we were in our first bands together.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, and they used to sell places out. Like, you guys were a hot commodity because
it was capacity was 30 people,
and it was funky.
So we sold them out, but it was like 30.
It was like 50 people.
I realized that you weren't talking about the Madison Square Gardens.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, those were good times though. We all our first bands. Many of our first bands. Some of the other artists went on to do different things, and But
anyway, I heard it was like just like right now we're hearing all this stuff about NFTs. We keep bringing it around. This is the subject. We got to move it up to the title of this episode.
Truth.
Big Room discusses NFTs in this episode and ... hot sex and tits. We gotta get people's attention somehow. Anyway, by the way, where's my girl? But anyway, it was she's
right
Jack
here.
White. When I heard Jack White, we gotta switch positions here. This isn't just not right.
That makes more sense. Give it a little motorboat. Give a little
Jack White mentioned,
motorboat.
all right, I'm motorboat over here a little bit. Jack White was like, Black Mirror, and I was like, all right, I'm watching it. Because it was I heard you hear about it, and then Jack was like, I'm binge watching that shit right now, and it's badass.
Influencer,
right? Yeah, influencer marketing for sure. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a really, really good thing that empowers people. I mean, you have Kylie Jenner and like that whole Kardashian that was able to somehow be connected enough to Beverly Hills. Well, listen, Beverly Hills, you got Hollywood, West Hollywood, Beverly Hills, okay? And when you go to Hollywood, California, I lived in Hollywood, California I lived in Hollywood for 2 years, North Hollywood for 2 years, and East Hollywood for a year. Total 5 years. When these guys were in San Francisco, these two were in San Francisco.
Is that you?
No, that's Jack White. It looks like TK. If TK would dye his hair black.
That's a young Jack White, right?
Yeah, that shot was taken in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got the DCM shirt on. Okay, I see it now. That's hilarious. That's awesome.
Digital marketing didn't really have it, but at the time I was like, that's our 2020 vision.
One person that did the influencer thing to his advantage was Elon Musk. Do you guys know, like, when he bought multiple Bitcoins and then tweeted about, invest in Bitcoin, and then the Bitcoin overnight gradually rise up?
Yeah, I mean, this was the GameStop thing that I was talking about as well. So I mean,
Elon Musk fucking brilliant, man.
It's like
another level. Like, love him or hate him, like I love that dude. He inspired.
And he was like, how gangster can you be to buy multiple satellites and like you go walk into NASA and you say, what do you guys
Right.
need? What do you guys want? And they were like, we want satellites. No problem. I'm gonna buy some.
Yeah, that's
with
big
1,000
boss.
satellites.
That's big boss balling right
Yeah,
there.
that's a
That's
gangster
beyond
move, right?
baller level money.
Those are the real gangsters. What the fuck? That's a real gangster move.
Well, we say baller, like yo, that dude got baller money because
Okay.
football, like in America, it's every. In fact, the world is mostly sports. Like our highest paid people, more than doctors, more than educators, are sports,
Athletes.
Soccer, football, in world soccer.
Football,
But
yeah.
here in America, it's football. But we could just call them ballers. And if you got baller money, you're making $1 million a year plus. You're making 7 figures a year with a
What do you mean?
guarantee of
Do you
X
guys-
amount of years, regardless of what happens to you.
Do you
You're
guys
no
know
longer
about
trading your time
Cristiano
for money.
Ronaldo?
You're on a fucking contract. It's beautiful.
You guys know about Cristiano Ronaldo?
Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo. Who don't know about
Cristiano-
Cristiano Ronaldo?
Cristiano
Yeah, no.
Ronaldo is the biggest. I mean, him and Lionel Messi, the biggest footballers on the planet.
Sure.
And
World football. World football.
Yeah.
What country? What state? Romania.
What? Who?
Cristiano Fernando.
Ronaldo? No, Ronaldo is Portuguese.
Yeah, that didn't sound very Romanian to me. Fernando, Portuguese.
Do you guys not know about Cristiano Ronaldo?
No, bro, we don't.
Really?
We're fucking art geeks. Like, well, in here,
Let me stop. So
anybody
first-
that would
first of
know
all-
BB Rumble.
Yeah, but do you guys know about LeBron James? You guys know about
Yeah,
LeBron James and Michael
James is
Jordan,
a
right?
badass.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
Americans, like Americans, just like the U.S. part, because the other Americans, Americans, I
Football,
say like South America.
basketball,
True.
then soccer, and
Yeah, but-
then below
Not
that,
soccer, it's football. We were first.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to say
know,
it.
it's
We were
fascinating,
second.
right?
We were first. So it's football. It's
just
American
the
football and
arrogance of
European
Americans.
football.
It's just not popular over here.
I was gonna say it's
don't
funny
know.
that it has to be an argument, right? Because you're right.
It is.
Football's been around for whatever.
Everybody
But
else,
it's
yeah.
being debated. Like,
Oh my God, these Americans. But anyway, so Cristiano Ronaldo actually makes $500,000 per week, only
Yeah,
on
that's
his
sick.
salary
Baller money.
from the team. So imagine plus endorsements. Like he's the biggest face of Nike. Him and LeBron James are the two biggest faces on Nike.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
good for him, and it's you have to do
And
so
actually,
much.
a Romanian discovered him. So that's a fun fact.
It's arguable about who has to do more work. Like, is a musician in the studio and all the luck that has to happen around your art, or a baller. But these guys, they have to.
It's
they
different.
can't
It's
drink
different
alcohol
work.
for months on end, and yeah, they have a very hard exercise regimen. And you have to be born with certain physical endowments. So it is a unique
yeah.
combination of things that makes a superstar in any physical realm. In any,
it's a very different work because you cannot compare physical work to psychological work. So,
there's a limit to
you
the-
you can say about high athletes, high pay, like LeBron James, or like, not LeBron James because LeBron James was like a phenomenon, athletic speaking, but like any mid-level NBA guy, like for example, I don't know, Russell Westbrook. Okay, yeah, you can say he's a hard worker. He busts his ass off on in the gym, but if you like try to say compose a song in the next few weeks, or like
can
come
do
up
that.
with lyrics that can catch attention, it's not compared like to the work that I don't know Drake does. I like Drake. I'm not a big trap fan, but Drake, what he's been doing in his area of music is really something.
Yeah, I agree. I pay attention to I try to pay attention to pop genres and pretty much like every genre of music. Like I've always done that. I've always loved to pay attention to pop music particularly and just see what it's doing, but as an artist, but I also love sports. I grew up playing all the sports.
Who
And I know
doesn't?
all the sports,
PK,
A
he
lot of
doesn't.
people don't,
You don't
Yeah,
want
this guy does it.
No.
you don't
Moogy's
watch
not-
sports any at all?
Nah, none.
What the fuck? How can you not watch sports?
I actually like to put my intention into things that I have personal control over, instead of allowing my emotions to be controlled by things that are completely out of my.
You didn't have to get that deep. I mean, you could have just give a straight up answer. You know, I mean, like, you could have just said, I don't like sports, man. You didn't have to go that deep.
You want to know the truth? I think it's a complete fucking waste of time. And
there you go. There you go.
Do matter in life. I think
that's a straight up answer.
It's the gladiators in the arena. It has fuck all to do with anything except what needs to be experienced outside of one's own life. It's an acceleration. I understand the psychological necessity of it. In the same aspect, I understand the psychological aspects of needing it like religion. But for those people that don't need such things, most are Virgos, don't fucking give all. We're able to entertain ourselves on a day-to-day basis.
So one of the things I will say about sports is the experience. This is kind of a cornerstone of a lot of what I do.
Playing sports and watching sports are two different things.
Correct. And so you're right.
Actually, any sport I jump into, I'm actually very good at.
Well, I can make an argument for both from a positive perspective, but I would say that, you know, for me, the experience of going to a baseball game, like going to a stadium and, you know, maybe I bring the kids, that experience holistically is what makes that worthwhile to me.
100%.
Right?
Yeah, I totally
it's
get that.
different than you know. I mean, I enjoy sports. I'm not.
No, it's like going to church. Like whether you go in an arena filled with people, it's the same emotion that people experience in church. It's a religious experience.
Yeah, but even watching at home, right? Like I go back to when I was a kid. Traditionally, I will air quotes all of that, right? We grew up in an area where, you know, the Pittsburgh Steelers were the football team of choice. My siblings and I all enjoyed watching it and getting energized when they were winning and all that kind of stuff.
Hell yeah.
That experience is what football is about for me. That experience of enjoying the game with that group of people. That's what, in my mind, becomes that. And so when I think about like, oh, let's put this on now, like, especially to your point, T, like there are tons of things that you have options to like invest your time and energy into.
Yes.
So choosing where you put that is important. But when I think about like, let's do this and let's set this up to be a, restoke that fire of nostalgia. That's part of what it is. It doesn't matter what we're watching. I watched Rocky and Bullwinkle on Tuesday nights with my son, and that is just the same as watching football because it's about that experience. We laugh, we talk about it, you know, the jokes, like whatever, but like that's, you know what I mean? So like that, I think that to me is the parallel when I think about sports, whatever. You can go deeper, right? You can create a bigger sense of community by doing sports betting. BB Rumble knows about this, right? Like you can layer all of those things because now you're getting into now you're also challenging your brain into like, well, what are the statistics behind this and what are the odds to this, right? And so there's this whole other creative way of like engaging. So, you know, again, I think it comes down to that perspective of like, what are you trying to get out of it, right?
Yeah. I mean, for me, you know, one of the first things for years, for most of the time that I spent watching sports was with Toll, you know, Gary back down at Aces, who is now gone, and some of just anyone who knew Gary knew how he was, and he was just some of the stories that happened around Steeler football games, and just us watching football in general. Oh, we lost Krampus.
Yeah. No, we got him. I'm just controlling.
Okay. But yeah, and there's things that will happen. Like I've always found watching various sports, primarily things like football and hockey, very similar to listening to music on a radio. You know, it's an outlet. It's something that you're watching, and somebody pulls off an amazing physical play, pulls off something that you're just like, holy shit! Did you see Odell Beckham make that one-handed catch? in the end zone. Did you see, James Harrison come around the corner and make that, 99-yard touchdown return? He's run down the sidelines of the Super Bowl. People are trying to tackle him. There's guys that are much faster than him. They're like, "Give me the ball, James." And James like, "I ain't fucking giving anybody this ball. I'm running with it."
Breathing heavy.
And he's jumping
Tiptoeing
over
on the
people.
sideline, watching
he's
it by
staggering. He's,
game of inches.
yeah, all that shit is very similar to me to listening or watching a great movie or listening to a great song, except you don't know the end of it. It's being created right in front of you live. It's happening right there. It's these people do it, and then like Pretori there said, once you start working betting into it, you start working in. Oh, what are the what odds do I think?
Different analysis, different analytics, different metrics.
So that adds a different level.
It's a different part of the brain. It's a math part of the brain.
Yeah, that's a different level of fun
engaged.
to watching. But just the game itself is that there's an element
Probability.
there's an element. No, just in the game itself, there's an element of creation involved in it. There's an idea of one individual saying, "This is what we want to do," and another individual saying, "We're going to stop you from doing that."
And who manifests
and then
the outcome.
figuring out what's the best way to do it. So that's where I've always seen the sports thing, where I get into it is that kind of, and then of course there's so many memories. There's and you don't, what was his name? What was the dude's Mark Sanchez, right? Mark Sanchez for the Jets. When he ran into that guy's ass,
the butt fumble.
Yeah. He ran into that guy. He backs up. The running back goes the wrong way. Mark Sanchez realizes I'm hung out to dry. I know where I'm supposed to go, and he runs so fast directly into his own guy's ass that he then knocks himself back with such force that the ball then popped out of his hands and goes to the other team. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Anyway, me, Gary, K-Rock, and Dave were all watching that when that happened, and we were in tears. I mean, we could not stop laughing, and it wouldn't have been the same if I had seen it on a commercial or on a replay
or by yourself.
Oh yeah, or by myself. If I would see by myself, I'd been like, "What the what?"
Yeah, you still would have laughed.
And then I probably would have done. It would have been
it's not a communal experience.
He would have went down, and I would have done this. That's fine. But as it was, I mean, Gary fell to his knees and was like in the middle of the floor at Aces. Just he couldn't stop laughing. He rolled over on her. I mean, we were just dying.
And laughter's contagious, so it just.
Can you know if anybody who knows Gary? Can you just try to envision what he was doing during that James Harrison run back in the Super Bowl?
Oh man!
I mean, which lasted. It took 13 seconds to go from one end to the other.
Louder.
Yeah, and I mean, with Gary, I thought he was gonna have a fucking heart attack. I really, honestly did. I thought.
Gary was the guy that, he was genuinely himself in all situations, and so.
And then in the larger connection,
he didn't have a filter. It was a beautiful thing. Like
Victoria was saying, that the larger community, there are things, and I find weird things funny, man. I mean, I deal with death and loss and what in very odd ways, but one of the things that I always think of is the Jerome Bettis fumble against the Colts on the goal line. We're wrapping it up. It's the end of the game. The announcers are going, we're on our way. We're on our way, folks. We're on our way to wherever it was, Denver next week. And Jerome Bettis fumbles that ball. It pops up in the air, and there's nobody there left to tackle except Ben. And Ben makes that shoestring tackle. And then we find out, later that day, that someone else watching that game at that moment literally had a fucking heart attack. Like, he was watching the game, and when he saw that ball pop up, his heart said, and just the idea that such an event would affect a human in that way. I think he lives. I hope he lives because it still cracks me up just thinking about the guy actually having a fucking heart attack.
Imagine how weird that would be, like written on your stone, like people asking at the funeral, how did this guy die? And you
Yeah,
try to explain to them, he
The,
had a
the
heart
bus
attack.
fumbled, and that's
yeah. The bus. How? So. Oh, hey. How did
Do you guys know? Have I told you? Have I ever told you that in Romania we have a happy cemetery?
a happy cemetery?
Yeah,
I
it's
love the
actually
concept.
I believe it's the only one in the world.
I
We have
love
a
the concept already.
Yeah, and it's a cemetery here in the capital city of Bucharest. It's called the
Yeah.
Bell Cemetery, and all of the the things written on the tombstones are funny jokes that that guy made before he was dead. So
Sure.
like a common joke was roughly translated like let me just translate it in my mind so we can. So he's saying on the tombstone is written, "You are reading this and I'm sitting in my grave. I wish I were reading this and you were sitting in this grave."
Sure.
And stuff like that is written all over, like really cool jokes like I'm glad I escaped my mother-in-law and these kind of things. And it's really quite a funny experience, like to go through the cemetery and read the jokes on the tombstones, and it's all
That's awesome.
happy colors like green and blue and red and yellow everywhere.
Oh,
I
Is
mean,
that
it's,
like
you know,
Yeah, I've said for probably I don't know, 25 years, 30 years, that regardless of how I die, I am seriously considering if I'm not I don't want to have a tombstone because my goal is just get rid of my body as cheaply and effectively as you can. Don't spend any money on it, and don't.
you want to incinerate yourself, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
yeah. As long as it doesn't cost too much money to incinerate me.
Do you know
If you can throw me on a campfire somewhere, if that works.
I've seen like
it'd be
a
like the
guy.
Big Lebowski.
Yeah, just have everybody gather out in the woods with a couple kegs and just
I've
toss
seen
me on a fire.
an idea like the guy incinerated, and then his ashes spread into a mosh pit at a rock concert,
There you go.
and then the mosh pit came together on his ashes. That was his last wish.
Wow, that's totally Bri. That's so
fucking
Bri
awesome.
right there.
And
No, I always said that if I had a tombstone,
BB,
regardless of
BB.
regardless of my manner of death, I would want to put on "died while eating a pickle." Just because I think that anybody going through a tombstone or going through a graveyard would get to that and go,
What the fuck?
died while what? Why?
You're sitting there eating a pickle, like
Yeah,
Oh,
that would be
Pickle Rick.
weird.
Do you guys Rick and Morty? Have you seen Rick and Morty?
Oh god,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love Rick and
yeah, I
Morty.
used it as our advertisement tonight, by the way.
See, Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick. Yep. We
Oh, that's-
Aaron,
was
There's a
awesome.
quote in the TV
Pickle
show
Rick.
Friends where she says, I always wanted to have on my tombstone, "Here lies Phoebe Buffet, buried alive."
Right.
There's actually a new concept, and when a dead person is incinerated, they extract the organic matter from the ashes, and then they make you into a seed that you can plant and grow a tree out of.
yeah. This is the thing I want to do. I
it's
agree.
It's
That's-
really,
that's
it's
the
really
thing I
awesome
started-
because I don't
Yeah.
know if you guys are religious or me personally, I'm not religious.
Hey!
Yeah, there, Pickle Rick.
Oh god.
Fresh out of
Oh,
Phoebe's
God.
ass.
Yeah, I was as I was saying, and so for me, like it's the only true life after death, like planting a seed and growing
Yeah.
out a tree out of. I
Yeah.
can make my kids water me with beer, with
Right.
handcrafted beer, like come to me.
Energy
Yeah.
cannot be created nor destroyed. So it's all things, thoughts, people, all life that has a vibrational energy is only going to be sucked into something else, the greater vibration that it resonates with. So putting your essence back into Gaia, into Mother Earth, is actually how all shit was supposed to be fucking intended, is composting. putting things
Correct,
into a
but
box.
don't make the mistake that your essence now resides in the tree, because that's certainly not the case. If anything, you provide basic nutrition, hardly anything in the form of non-waterized human dust.
Well, all things are connected, and it
But
depends.
your energy's already gone into the ethos. However, is my point. So don't think people won't chop down the tree because they think it's grandpa. Like, that's kind of whack. I don't know.
I see what you're going for. Yeah.
Monk, are you passionate about?
Yeah,
Greek
like people are like,
mythology?
don't
You
sell my
mentioned Gaia.
land for the road. Like,
couldn't
oh,
hear you.
you're offering me $1 million for the land. Yeah, but grandpa's tree's back there. And then they don't take the $1 million. Like, take the $1 million.
Good. Grandpa in a tree, bitch. Would you ask me there, Krampus?
I said if you are passionate about Greek mythology because you mentioned the Gaia.
I'm actually very passionate about all writings that were preserved for a purpose, and I know, and actually it was something that BB taught me at a very early age, that all of the writings that were preserved are done through poetry and not for its literal take. It's all done through symbology and math. And what we're learning a lot is a lot of these stories were to preserve the math of ratios of the circumference of the earth, of the spinning of this, and how and how all of the perceived physical reality moves, all the numbers of everything.
Explaining how our flat planet constantly accelerates at a increasing velocity.
Correct.
Obvious stuff like that. Yeah.
So and growing up playing D&D and a role-playing game, having the Deities and Demigods book in my hands while we're going to Catholicism school, and being an altar boy, and then shoving these, the King James version of the Bible, which like
LeBron James has a Bible.
James has a Bible.
Does LeBron James have a Bible?
I'm sure.
He will.
Look at this. Look at this, guys. A small introduction.
Hey,
I
if
got
you're famous. Rewrite it.
What is this? Is
King Adrock version. I got a King Adrock version of the
What
Bible.
is it? Is that some kind of cider? What is it?
Yeah, it's an apple cider.
Yeah, it looks like an apple cider.
Yeah, it's actually from Italy. Antica ricetta siciliana.
Sounds nice.
Polare,
Rolls off the tongue.
Vivite in Sicilia. Yeah, it's easy for me because Italians have the same grammar, so it's easy for me to read it.
What's the ABV on that?
What is that? What is ABV?
The percentage
Alcohol
of
by
alcohol.
volume.
It should be printed somewhere on the.
And I want to see the artwork of the bottle.
I don't believe it's alcoholic actually.
Oh really?
Are all ciders alcoholic, or they?
No, just hard ciders. I just hear cider, I assume hard.
Yeah, it's actually. I believe it's not alcoholic.
Can I see the bottle?
As opposed to soft cider.
Closer.
Oh, wait. Let me give him a little screen time over here.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, she's hot.
Little Greek.
Yeah, that's hot.
Capital. That is
It looks like a cartoon frame. It looks like something from like.
It's a really cool bottle, and it's really good tasting. It's actually good cider.
The capital of that is Ionic, by the way.
You're brave drinking that late in the morning, man. Something with that much sugar, though.
Definitely non-alcoholic. Definitely non-alcoholic.
For all the stupid shit that Romanians do since early age, this is not so
You're
bad.
true,
man. We're just I'd need to take like some type of digestive after that, you know.
Oh, really? Yeah. I actually have let me show you guys.
All right.
That's gonna be something good.
I like how he says, let me show you guys. Romania. Hey guys, we're coming up to 11 o'clock here, by the way. We're actually, if you want to see what Krampus presents us, Krampus, let's get about Krampus. Right.
Krampus, one second. No, wait. Hold the camera.
I'm gonna wait.
Anybody who wants to see Krampus, you'll have to wait till next week. Sorry, y'all.
Sorry, y'all. Good night.
Good night.
Stick around till after the credits.
something too.
With advance, summons from across the pond. Rev. With advance,
Wizard beard.
summons from the frozen land. Figuring it out.
What do you say?
And we're back.
Go home.
Gotta get right. I got
That classic.
got to update that
That's
version
cool.
with Krampus and Jafar and Pretoria now too.
Check this
Yes,
bad boy
indeed.
out. This is
Oh.
the real shit right here. So let me explain to you guys what
Get
this
him
is.
on big screen. Get him on big screen.
Big screen
Coming
that
up,
dark
coming up.
urine.
So it's
You
not
should go
that
to a
much.
doctor for that. That's not.
Yeah. It's not that much because I drank it all.
Yes.
But this is a drink, an alcoholic drink made out of cherries. So I explained to you guys that we have the moonshine version of
Yes.
our, and so we make moonshine with all sorts of fruit. And this is actually made with cherries, and it's really sweet and
In a
good
delicious
tasting.
toilet behind the jail cell.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but it's really cool tasting, and it has like a real.
Hopefully not. Hopefully there's no jail cell and bars involved or toiletry.
Is that something that you buy, or is that something?
No, is this something you make? You cannot
Right.
buy this.
Now was this a
I would
gift
try-
or did you
I would
make
try
it
a
yourself?
cherry.
Yeah, did you make it, or did somebody make it and you got it?
My dad's friend, my friend's dad made it,
Okay,
and I got it as a gift.
that was 1 year. 1 year, many years ago, maybe 28 years ago, at my birthday party. One of my cousins came and gave us a gift of multiple jugs of homemade moonshine they had made, and
Hey,
me and Monk and Ad Hoc and a friend of ours at the time, Frank, began to drink them at the party, and that went bad.
Oh yeah.
I need to come to
Pure
the
grain.
US and meet with you guys, and I'm gonna bring my moonshine. I'm gonna
Oh,
see your
man.
reaction when you drink it.
Oh,
You
dude.
can see us fall.
Or
to
when
pieces.
when Othak visits Romania, I'm gonna be there at the airport waiting with a bottle of moonshine in my hand.
Krampus,
Oh, that's
I hope that your anticipation of our faces is in the ecstasy of deliciousness that we're
Right.
like, this is
Oh my-
remarkably delicious.
Reminds me of my
Hope
youth.
that's what you're referring to, because if it's just this is
Tastes like
remarkably
shit,
like
tastes
putting my
shit.
like my mouth to a tap of ethanol from a tailpipe of a car. I've been there.
Oh,
I've done
yeah,
that.
It
And I
depends
don't wanna
on
return.
what drink I give you. So, for example, if I give you this, the cherry drink, you're gonna like the taste of it. Yeah, it's hard alcohol. It's
Yeah,
60% or 70% or something like that.
Okay.
But it's sweet tasting. But if I give you like a moonshine, the transparent one,
Oh yeah,
oh yeah, that's the real deal, right there.
yeah. I
Big
remember.
strong man like
I,
you should be afraid of little boom boom.
I remember us pouring some of the moonshine into something and lighting it on fire and just watching the blue flame burn. And
Yeah, it's
Just
good.
get-
It's
yeah,
practically.
now we should drink that. We said.
Yeah, I mean, if you infuse pure grain with Kool-Aid or fruit, or pour the vodka, into the watermelon, it's still kind of not that good.
Yeah.
Before one of
Especially
the,
if it's pure grain. Like you don't want to
I actually don't like vodka.
It kind of balances out. But
yeah, before one
effed.
of the music festivals way back in the day, I think before we were even 21, I remember us having a large, overly large bottle of pure grain, which is, a 98% alcohol beverage.
So it's
They-
basically medicinal
It's just,
alcohol.
yeah, it's just
Yeah,
alcohol.
pretty much. Yeah.
And we were mixing it, me, Monk, Ad hoc, and Frank again. We're mixing it with Kool-Aid, some kind of blueberry Kool-Aid, I believe it was.
Sugar, colored sugar water.
And in Frank's room, spilt some on his dresser, and within moments, it ate the varnish off the dresser. And we were like, "All right, drink it."
That's how you know it's good.
Oh, we're excited. To
You
drink
guys, you guys may be Americans, but in your soul, you are from the Balkans.
That's
I
right.
can say.
Wonderful.
You are my
Here we
people. You are my
are.
brothers.
Yes. Well, cheers.
Cheers to that.
Raise a glass. Raise a glass.
Cheers, mates.
Here's
Nice
to being
see you all
brothers.
tonight. And to our health. To our health.
Yes.
Cheerio.
Actually, maybe one of 10 at the most Balkans that don't like vodka. I don't like vodka. for
I don't like
example.
vodka either. Gary was a huge vodka
Yeah,
fan.
he was.
Gary,
Yeah,
Gary loved vodka. Loved it. I would buy
for me,
some,
vodka is a little bit on the rougher side.
It's
Only
vodka.
a couple. I mentioned I have an uncle that lives in California. I told you guys, and he is an investor in a brand of vodka called Demidov that's from Poland, and they actually have a different recipe, and that's the only vodka I like. They distilled it 3 times using potatoes, and it's not harsh at all. It's really smooth and rolls down the throat really easily. It's really fun drinking, but the only downside to it is that you get drunk and you don't know why, because you keep drinking it, and since it's not that hard hitting,
yeah.
Yeah.
you don't know why you got drunk, so you
Miami.
just wake up drunk in a
Miami.
second.
In a
Yeah,
cell.
those are the
In a
dangerous
prison
drinks.
cell.
Yeah, those are the dangerous drinks. Those are the ones that,
Those are the not the dangerous drinks, the fun drinks. Those are the fun drinks.
those are
Dangerous.
dangerous drinks, man.
Same thing.
Yeah,
Hey, Graham,
same-
For me, it's fun.
Oh,
Send
no,
us a
it's-
link to that vodka so that we can do it on a What Are You Drinking here in the big room.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
it's actually the
definitely-
first vodka that went into space.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh man.
Yeah,
so
they-
he made a good investment then. Yeah.
Yeah, they tied it up to a thermal balloon, and they got it into space.
it's,
So it's unofficial. It's unofficial.
it's officially unofficial.
And it made it to the stratosphere, not quite space. Just to be specific.
Yeah, I'll send you guys
Close
the
enough.
link.
There
enough.
is speaking of, again, bringing it back around NFTs and engagement and unaccredited investors on Start Engine. There was a tequila that was on Start Engine that was crowdfunded and spoke to its purities, and it was a family brand and somebody that had like connections to these agave farms in a certain portion of Mexico, which is the highest elevation of that part of the world. And talking about how the agave does change slightly, and they wanted to make a tequila from it. They had a farm of it, and it was ready to go. And I thought that was pretty cool. I did not invest. Usually, the minimum investment is $500 on a lot of a lot of Start Engine investments. So I didn't do that, but I did invest in Start Engine itself as a vehicle for a lot of this, and that's cool. But guys, I just want to respect everybody's time. Pro Torre, I know you usually have early start of your days, right?
Oh yeah, every day.
Every
You
7
got
days a
kids,
week. Or?
Well, the kids probably wake up first. You got to get
Well,
them.
yeah, I mean that's the thing. There's no rest for the weary, as they say. Yeah, Saturdays and Sundays still get it's later in the morning, but sometimes I'm like, I get up
Christmas
before
when
anyone
you're
else is awake.
10.
I can do all kinds of things. So
Well, see,
Yeah,
How
I
old
have
are your
determined
kids?
that I have determined that
They're like-
literally-
yeah,
I
how
think
old
I'm
are your kids?
literally-
9 and 7.
9 and 7.
Oh, so they're young. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I am actually allergic to the morning. I think that
I think I'm allergic to kids.
I know.
I have
think
the
I have a
vitamin
good
D, too
connection
much
with
vitamin
kids.
D in the morning. From the
it,
sun.
it does not matter what time I go to sleep. Doesn't matter how well I sleep. I can go to sleep. I can set myself up for a week. And the only time I didn't get sick or just start feeling queasy in the morning was when we
Cruise
went
ship.
down to we went down to Honduras, and that's really because I didn't drink anything except alcohol for a week. So
Also, what about your resort when you're on vacation? You can,
I sleep late on those there, man. I sleep
hell
late.
yeah, you know.
Yeah, I
I
sleep.
When I go on vacation, I wake up at 7 a.m. I gotta see stuff.
Yeah, you
if
got to
I'm
make the
going on
most of the
vacation.
day, right?
Yeah, no
Yeah,
time
if
for
you're
sleep.
on a-
No time.
No. There's a difference when we go places. We have to define it when we're planning. Is it a trip or is it a vacation?
hmm
Because if it's a trip, we're going to be busy,
Ah.
and I just then mentally be ready for it. If it's a vacation,
Yeah,
perfect. I'm still going to wake up and whatever, but there's no pressure to let's pack a bag.
Yeah,
Book
there
this
is
way.
there is
That's
only
not
one
okay.
thing that makes
At
me
the
wake
sound of
up
the
in the
pig.
morning with a smile
Yeah,
on
yeah.
my face.
yeah. When we went down on Honduras, that was definitely a trip because we had the itinerary of
Yeah.
K Rock's going to the pyramids at this time, and we have to be up at this time to do this. So
But you were on a huge floating vessel
filled with alcohol,
and food.
Filled with
As they-
temptation.
As they do.
and we had
Not that kind of temptation, unfortunately, Krampus.
and Dave and I had paid for the
Food temptation and alcohol temptation. Yeah, it's still temptation, but
I paid
all,
for the
it's not all three temptations.
Yeah, women are the most dangerous drug out of them all.
Whammy! That's
You
why
gotta-
he's here.
You gotta-
kidding. I'm kidding for any women that are watching.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm honest.
We love you to a dangerous level. Is what we're all trying to say. I think it's what we're all trying to say.
Yeah, I was going to say
We love
that,
you more than ourselves.
There is only one thing that makes me wake up in the morning, and when I say morning, I mean like 4 a.m. or 3, 4, 5 a.m. and that's going fishing. And I wake up, I wake up with a smile on my face. Like when I wake up for school, I'm like, fuck, another day. I'm gonna make me a coffee or something. When I go fishing, it doesn't matter if I sleep 2, 3, 4 hours. I always wake up energized because I'm really looking forward to the next day and going fishing. And so when I wake up, I have a positive mind, and when I wake up, I'm always energized. And I go grab my gear, go get in my car, get my dog in my car, go with my dad. Not anymore because I moved out of the city and I miss it. But
you and Gary would have gotten along there, man. Gary was a diehard fisherman. I mean, he was.
Yeah,
He
I
loved
enjoyed
getting
it.
up and disappearing into the wilderness for hours or days.
And not
fishing.
just like not the pleasure of fishing, because fishing is really boring. I mean, you have to have like a lot of patience to go fishing, but
Right.
Or drugs.
just going out into nature. I really like going into nature because me being in college and revolving around the technology all the day, sitting on the computer, yeah, I go with training at kickboxing and whatever, but I still need that connection to nature. I'm really a nature
Yes.
guy. So, for example, I'm really crazy. Like, I leave my phone. Some days I'm just waking up and I say I want to go somewhere. So I leave all my technology behind, like my phone, and nobody knows where I am. I go missing for like 3 or 4 days.
Oh my
My
gosh.
friends actually one time announced the police that I was missing, and I was just I go get my gear and I get it on my motorcycle, and I get on my motorcycle and I go into the mountains on the camping trips, and I get my my stove and my eggs and whatnot, and I make omelets. I get my axe and I chop wood and I make fires. Maybe go fishing if there is a lake or a small pond nearby, and nobody knows where I am. Like for 3 or 4 days, I could be dead. So nobody knows, and I'm just chilling in the woods with a cigarette like this and a camping.
I love how jovially you said that.
Yeah, I could be dead.
I could
Originally could be there because one time I got into a really
Stoicism.
hardcore camping
We're
trip.
all stoics. We're
Very
all
stoic, yeah.
to a
Yeah.
degree.
I got
gotta-
into
you
a
gotta-
really hardcore. Usually, I go into camping, sites that are official, and there are a lot other people so I can make new connections and new friends and whatever. But at one time I was like, no, I'm gonna fully go like into the woods, like in an abandoned. Nobody was near me, just me. I don't know. I left my motorcycle about 20 miles from where I was. So my motorcycle was in a parking lot, and I walked 20 miles into the middle of the woods near a small pond because I wanted to go fishing. And so I ended up staying there that night. And the fun part is actually in those mountains where I were, there are bears, there are wolves. You have I don't know what they're called, the pigs, the wild pigs. What are
Boars,
they?
wild boars.
Yeah, boars. Yeah.
Javier, what are they called?
Chupacabra.
Javelinas.
Chupacabra.
Yeah, no chupacabras, but boars definitely. So I literally
Flying
could have
pigs
been
with
dead.
vampire teeth. What are those called?
The what?
What?
Monks.
Chupahagra.
The chupacabra.
Oh,
Hey, please wait.
Woo!
Somebody write that down. Do cryptozoology.
Yeah, I'm in Romania, so there could be vampires also. We don't know.
Right.
You never know when you can cross the path. Like you guys have Bigfoot, we have vampires.
You win that one.
Gentlemen.
You win this
I
one,
want to end
Romania.
the episode
You
right
win
now.
this
Keep
one.
always keep people wanting more. You know, people always got to
Do
get
we?
wanting more.
The vampires really became a big thing. Like I don't know why.
If you want to hear Krampus talk about vampires from Romania,
Yeah,
might have to come back next week.
so
Romania.
we're wrapping up then. We're gonna shut down the big room.
I don't
Shut it
know. I
down.
mean, how's everybody feel? How's everybody feel? Protore. This is our first time. And how do you even pronounce your name, by the way? I'm sure I'm slaughtering it.
I have no idea. I looked it up right before I signed on to Twitter tonight.
Prutore. Is that? I'm gonna say it's prutore.
Prutore. That works for me.
Yeah, the O and the U would probably that's you probably have that correct, Krampus. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, bro. It was great seeing you, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
This is
It's
the
been,
first.
it's been a minute.
You got a tight background. It's almost as good as mine.
Yeah. My
a really
desk that I
professional
sat in
background.
from the beginning of the pandemic for like months and months and months and months. So
Hey, can we
It's
listen to some?
monks
How
and
about
monks.
some music that you guys busted out? The Monk in Protore created some music about a week ago, I think. I wonder
About
if,
a week
I wonder if
ago,
there's a weird way to share it. Oh wait, I think I may figure out a way to share it before we all depart.
Oh wait, I
You guys
think
want to hear something that you guys did together?
I feel like we're being set up for something.
Protore,
I
is there
wonder
a
if
way?
there's a way. I wonder if there's a way for us. Oh wait, I think I might figure something out.
All right, just a heads up. Like we said, Protore and the Monk, we were in our first bands together, and life happens, and we all do our things. We go into film, we go into production, we do our own bands, etc. But anytime that we get together, no matter where we are in the United States, when we get together, we stay up late and we make music. After the kids are in bed, we make music. So we have a pretty big catalog at this point. I would say probably about 20, maybe 20 songs.
I mean, there's probably a lot more than them if you count the early California music.
Yeah.
I mean, we're probably 50.
Yeah, good point. So so eventually this will all get re-recorded and released. But nevertheless, we were just together. We got our families together about a week and a half ago, and recorded a little something. And the point is how this all started out. In the evening, we were talking about NFTs and linking up visual art with audio. But there's been a very big discussion between Ad Hoc, myself, Protore, the Rev, Riggedy Sizzle, on linking our home studios to create online entities of audio. So big things coming, man.
Yeah, so there's so you're right, T. On the tip of NFTs, there's a program that I encourage everybody to look into that is basically an online, it's called BandLab, bandlab.com. Go on there because that's one of the places that I found that's a software as a service that basically allows us to all be in the same DAW at the same time and contribute tracks individually. So that's what we're kind of looking at right now, digital audio workstation wise. And yeah, I don't know. I wanted to play that one that I think this is it. I don't know if I can't do it without. Can you guys hear it?
No, but that's okay. You don't have to.
What about now?
Yeah, we hear it.
Very subtle.
Oh yeah.
That's very barely here.
This is so grimy. I love this version you did, Pro.
It sounds like Russian techno.
Excellent.
A little bit of Muse, the band Muse inspiration here.
Yeah, I immediately said Bob George, which is from the Prince's Black album. Many artists have done Black albums, but Prince's was he pitch shifted the voice.
Yeah,
and that was cool. But this right, what we're listening to is this, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Where it started.
Pitch shifted.
Totally different vibe.
Yeah. This is Protori and myself.
I like this one better.
Fun little ditty.
I'm hoping to find time this weekend. I've been retweaking the studio, and so I'm gonna remic the drums and probably lay end-to-end track for the drums on this because that's kind of piecemeal together. So it'll clean that up. So.
Well, as we all know, there's so many ways to do things in post, and there's so many different creative choices that can happen, after the initial instruments and vocals are recorded. So many different ways to sound. So
yeah,
so very cool. Great job, guys, and I think our future, hopefully, our bandwidth will continue to increase at our homes via FiOS or whatever it is. It's rumored that that the United States, certain parts of the United States, have less throughput than Europe. So, but I'm sure it's not. I'm sure that's a generalized statement. But Europe's supposed to have faster Wi-Fi.
Can you? Oh, you cannot. Wait. Let me reduce the
brightness.
Yeah.
Oh,
so is that?
This is you. Oh wait, hold on. Switch it over. Get Krampus in the front.
Oh no, I thought I did.
There it is.
This is me on my fishing trips.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's on a
it's a way to stay sustainable while you're out there in a way to be
Yeah, and I cook them. I don't just fish them out and just throw them back into the water.
You cook them,
but
I'm make sushi out of them.
Yeah, I don't like sushi. I don't know. I like to cook them, make them with like fish and chips.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff, man. It's really tasty. Definitely, we're all foodies here too. And I remember
this is what I was looking for.
Going trout fishing up in J-Town when I was
my bike with
12.
all my gear on it.
Nice.
So I have it put me on the screen. I have my backpacks on the back of the bike with improvised kind of stuff.
The ratchet strapping.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that gets into there. So I just get my gear on my bike, tie it up to my bike, and I go places and have really cool photos. Yeah, check this out.
Stand by.
So this is
Where are you there?
That's the mountainside. I'm in the mountains there. On a really cool one. I have and I have one at the.
It's like it's so orange. Is that like? Do you travel back in time to the 1970s?
Yeah, no.
Is that
I have
part of the country?
I have one also at
looks like
Dracula's
when
castle.
you photograph it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this is
the Impaler.
Yep. This is the entrance. There's my bike on the corner. This is the entrance to Dracula's castle.
Vlad the Impaler.
Why is it in like amber tone?
It's because of the night mode on my iPhone.
Oh,
you were there at nighttime.
No, my iPhone.
It's always nighttime in Transylvania, Romania.
Yeah, it's actually. I mean, it's called Dracula's castle, but it's not actually the place that Vlad the Impaler lived in.
Uh-huh.
But that's
the one that people have access to.
Yeah, that's the one that tourists go to, and there's a guy that dresses up as Dracula, and you go into this a tour. You have a tour guide, and then they escort you down into a dungeon, and you have like a really tight space. I mean, I'm not that big, but I'm 6'1", maybe, and I had to squeeze like. On the side to get down to the dungeon, and there's a big group of people, like 10 people with the tour guide, and from the walls there are certain holes that other people put their hands and grab you and stuff, so they make you jumpy, right? So they make you jumpy, and then they get you into this dungeon, and there's a tomb, like a grave in the middle of the room, and only 2 candle lights. So no lights at all, no electric lights. So 2 candle lights that are lit. And the tour guide grabs them both and starts, saying the story about Vlad the Impaler and how he ruled and why he's called Dracula and when all this comes from, like setting up the mood, right? And then out of nowhere, she blows on the candle lights, like she, complete darkness. And everyone starts screaming, especially the girls are really, scared and whatever. And they start screaming and whatever. And then she lights up the candlelight. And there's a guy that comes out of the grave dressed up as Dracula and scares everyone. And then she blows out the candlelight once again. And that's when the fun starts. Because when I first went there, I was like maybe 10 years old. And my first reaction, I was doing boxing. And my first reaction was to punch the guy. So when he scared me, he got out of the grave. All of my other colleagues, the children, they were all scared and whatever. And I was like, bam, and got him with a jab right in the face. So me at 10 years old, I was punching Dracula. It's really, really fun. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, this has been a wonderful experience, everybody. I'm ready to wrap it. The big room.
Yeah, I need to sleep
around, everybody, for the extra.
This was a pretty epic big room moment, don't you think so, everyone?
Yeah,
well, it's first time Protore showed up, so yeah, it's definitely one for the record books. Goes in the archives.
Every week.
Thanks for seeing the dawn with us.
Yeah.
in Romania.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
Krampus.
You're
Yeah.
risking your life, I think, essentially,
I
right?
think so.
The sun
That's-
does weird
Yeah,
things.
yeah. Pull the shades, man. Don't let
Yeah.
the sun.
Yeah,
shade
I'm
get
I'm
burnt.
practically cooking up right now because the sun
Right,
is
right.
rising.
them.
You might see ashes come out of my skin.
And it was a pretty epic night as far as history goes, as the world is starting to turn on to
Yeah, man.
NFTs, and we're discussing how that's starting to affect the artists of the world, which that's where we all live.
And entrepreneurs of the world.
Same.
Yeah, BB, you gotta change the intro. I gotta see myself into the intro.
I'm
Tell me, baby.
I'm gonna work on it as soon as I get some time from my regular work. I will. That's next on my list. Update.
I'm not pressing you, but next week,
The wizard
I
beard
need to
will
see
weave it in.
that.
It's
I'll
coming.
see what I can do. I'll see what I can do.
I don't know. You got to keep up on your game there, Krampus. You've been doing great.
Right. Right.
I will.
All
Yeah,
right.
man. Well, great seeing you guys. Be safe. Be well.
Much love.
Till next time.
Be safe. Hope to see you all soon.
Okay, have a great day, guys.
Bye bye.
boys.
Wonderful. Until then.
I'm scarred for life, but I'm set for life, and I'm set for life, but I'm scarred for life, and I'm coming at you. I'm fucking crazy. I'm fucking psycho, fucking insane.
That's the fucking chorus right there.
You nailed it,
That is
dude.
good.
You nailed it. You nailed it, and you visually transformed into fucking Joe Rogan. There, dude. You fucking,
Joe Rogan, yeah.
yeah, you did. You visually transformed
That's
into Joe Rogan. It was amazing.